today. On my left, you have my good friend Eddie Donald. He is from Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Just flew in this morning just to be here right now on this show.
Oh, man.
And I thank you, brother, for coming in and taking the time to step in and talk with us. And then on the couch here, I have, you already know, Ontario Eason, one of my good friends and one of my co-hosts of the show Inside the Den. Man, we've been talking about this all weekend. I done had several conversations with you guys on the phone this weekend, and I'm just excited to be here right now. We was talking before the cameras came on about dating in America in this new society that we are in now versus back in the day, man. It has been a difference. I know for some of you guys, it's been different dating experiences, from when you was, before until now. But we're going to talk about that today. And I have a couple of stories that we want to share with what happened to me during the week. And also, with my man here in Ontario, I'm pretty sure he want to share some things as well. So, like I said before, this is a live, unrehearsed, unscripted show. So what you see is what you get. We are true to what we're doing here inside the den. And this is where we get a chance to come in and talk as men about some things that might be troubling our minds and things that might be, just heavy on our hearts. I had a buddy of mine. He's actually from Jacksonville, Florida, but he recently moved to South Carolina, and he is really, really passionate about the Black Lives Matter movement, and actually had him on a video live and chimed him in on Facebook Live, and we was talking about reparations and things like that, and how did that relate to where we are now versus the past. And we had an awesome conversation. So I'm gonna be having that one posted on the actual YouTube page this week. But he's actually agreed to be on the show in about 3 to 4 weeks from now, so sometime in July. And he's a real good brother. But just having my guys here, man, is really it really makes a difference, because you don't have that platform. Absolutely. That we need to be able to just kind of talk about some things, man. I was going through a little bit of a little funk for the last couple of weeks, and I don't really want to I ain't really want to burden nobody with my problems, man, but just having an outlet to just get it out. It really made a lot of difference for me, and I was able to overcome that situation. But it just feels good to be able to have, my guys to talk to. Without further ado, man, let's just dive right into what we're here for right now. Go ahead and start us off with your opinion, Eddie, on how has it changed in the dating world from when you was in your 20s to you now being in your mid 40s. What's the difference in the dating?
Okay, yeah, I can definitely say that, and of course this is my opinion. I can definitely say that the dating scene actually has changed tremendously from just say like high school all the way up to being an adult. It was a little different time back then as far as how guys would approach women, and women or young women, they tended to be not as aggressive as they are now. The culture was a little bit different, but nowadays it's almost as if the roles have been reversed. The women tend to be more aggressive. And it's almost, I think I see a lot of young guys, they're a little confused, because back when I was younger, you would run up, this was before cell phones was really popping. You was like, oh, see how many numbers I could get. Right. So you got a pocket full of numbers, and you was excited. Oh man, you probably did a lot of cold approaching, as they say. you would just go and you see a girl out on the street. Hey, how you doing? Let me get your number, and she might comment back, hey, meet me halfway, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then y'all will go and y'all will talk, you know, and y'all exchange numbers, or you'll get her number, then you'll call or whatever. But nowadays, guys, they trying to take that approach because things are so politically correct now. We got that era, so many different things going on. They're not really approaching like that because they're like, man, if I say something, it might be out of bounds. It may seem, you know, and so it's really weird. And then the women, like I said, they're being more aggressive. Young girls are being very aggressive. It's everything is like out on the platter, you know. But then they feel like they want to be liberated. They feel like, hey, if I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw it at them, or I'm gonna bust it open. And to some of the girls, that's like liberating to them. It's not like where it was when I was younger, and they was like, you know, I'm gonna think about maybe having sex with this guy, or so-called I'm gonna make him work for it. No, it's like they feel like it's liberating to them to do
crazy.
that.
Because when I was coming, I remember girls being very mean,
Right.
Oh yeah.
very cruel. You know, I grew up in the '80s, so you know, right in the era where you had these the light skinned boys, you know,
Oh,
you
man.
know, girls,
Yeah, the light-skinned guys was
you know
winning
what I'm
back then.
Right.
Al B. Sure type, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't fooling with Wesley Snipes until like 91, 92, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember girls just being mean, you ugly, you too black, and it was just like very discouraging, you know, to try to talk to a girl back in the day. But just like my man said, now the roles have changed, and they'll be chasing you down, and you gotta like tell them like, I don't, you know, you ugly or whatever. It's almost like a difference, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy, and I don't know where it came from, but some kind of way it switched. And I don't know if if it switched from the time was like when, I don't know, this whole movement where the independent woman don't want you to buy her a drink anymore. She can buy her own drink.
Right.
And you might get a woman to want to buy you a drink, and you like, well, where did this come from? Because we're not used to women taking care of the bill.
Right.
We're not used to women wanting to buy a drink. So when you out in the club, you know, in your younger days, when you act, you know, chasing women or whatever, you almost expect it for the woman to say, you know, buy me a drink, or you know, ask her to drink, you know. But now it's like you can go to a place and it's almost like the total opposite, man. They want to find out how they can get in your space.
Oh yeah.
You know, they want to buy you a drink and where did that come from? I don't remember, but it's just crazy. But it's just a whole different dynamic
Very different.
now versus back in the day.
Very different. I would say my personal opinion. I feel like kind of like what you were saying about the movements, like with the women and stuff like that. I'm sure it had some, you know, some control on things, you know, because it's the only thing that changes things. You know, when things happen and more people get involved and more people start supporting it, that's when you start to see things shift. And that's what was happening, you know. Just like me personally, I like to talk about me personally, the Me Too movement. In my personal household, I was dating the mother of my kids. And I remember she was like, what's wrong with a woman leaving? I said, nothing. But I'm here. Let me do my God-given role. I'm here. If you had to do this by yourself, that's different, you know. So I feel like a lot of those movements did shift the atmosphere. You know?
Yeah, and we could probably go back further than the Me Too movement, back to
Absolutely.
the equal rights
Absolutely.
for women movement. You see that poster of that woman with that like this,
Yeah.
and you know she got that thing on her head, and she want to be treated equal pay and equal job and all that kind of stuff. That's probably when everything started to shift between men being the leaders and the hunters, and it being reversed for a woman trying to find a man instead of a man trying to find a woman.
Right.
And I've always said, even in the church, you know, you're finding more and more women pastors and more women leaders in the church. And I think that for the sake of argument, there's nothing wrong with a woman stepping up if the man is absent.
There you go.
Like, somebody got to do the job if the man is gone.
Right.
Women got to take out trash. They got to cut grass. You know what I'm saying? In the church, if all the men are absent, then the woman got to step up and still got to, you know, let the word go forward.
Right.
But the problem with the equal rights women movement that caused was, once the man has returned, can you sit down and let him retain his throne?
Exactly.
You asking for a king. You asking for a king, but when the king has returned to his throne, you still want to hold on to the job, but you don't want the king to do his job, and you fighting. And now the house has a power struggle going on because the man saying that this is my house, I'm the leader, and then the woman saying, well, I had to do all this while you was gone. But the key word is when you was gone.
That's right.
And this is as a society altogether. When the black man is gone, when he was out of pocket, when he was out of place, yes. Do your job. That's what help meet means. Help meet the needs of the house. When a husband is down, you're supposed to do your job. Yeah. But at the same token, when the king has returned, I need you to pipe down and I need you to allow me to do my job so that I can retain, you know, the leadership in the home. Yeah. And I think that that has been a problem, and that's where some of that.
Yeah.
What you talking about, the switch has come from, because, you know, everybody knows they want a strong black woman. Right. And this is the thing about strength that people have a hard time understanding. Strength is not like the might of a person. The strength is the ability to yield when they need to yield and pick up when they need to pick up. One thing I admire about, you know, I'm going back to the Bible because I have to focus things and put it in perspective. Being meek, meekness, being humble. People mistake being meek for being weak, but what meekness is, controlled strength.
Yeah.
Controlled strength is when you get a black belt, you now have the knowledge to destroy somebody, but controlling that and learning how to de-escalate a situation instead of having to use that. Me being meek is having enough strength to, or having enough wisdom to destroy someone, but controlling that strength.
That's right. And
controlling that into, now I'm gonna direct it in a different direction. So what has happened was, as a king that returned to his throne, in society we having a hard time we have to flex our muscles, but when we flexing our muscles, we're destroying the person because we're not doing it in meekness.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to you have to fight to let people know you ain't weak, but you shouldn't have to do all that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was watching one of the shows on YouTube. I think it was Cam Newton have a show called Sip and Smoke, and he had Steve Harvey on the show. And Steve Harvey, before he left the show, he told Cam Newton, he said, lions don't turn around from the barks of a small dog. Meaning that you don't have to turn every time somebody go to barking at you if you know what your position is. So in the home of the father, you know, being in the home, I feel that sometimes we're ridiculed for not barking or for not roaring as a lion when we don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
When you get up in the morning, do you have to convince yourself that you're a man?
No.
You got to convince yourself you're a man, you wake up in the morning? How about you, Cat? You got to convince. So waking up every morning automatically qualifies you as a man. We shouldn't have to do all this barking and roaring to say, look here, I'm a man, God dog it. Whether you in your house, whether you with your own kind, or whether you with a woman or a person from a different background. You ain't got to be doing all that, man. And it's just one of those things that I feel that as men, we've been meek and we've been humble, but we don't know how to control what we're going through. So we end up biting their head off. We end up doing something, and we have to backdoor with, I'm the man, darn it, respect me. But you ain't gotta do all that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you know who you are, you ain't gotta do all that. But I think society has painted that picture that if you're not doing all that barking, and this is the most irritating phrase, I need a real man. You ain't no real man.
Right.
But like, when you hear that, it goes back to what you were saying as far as you can't let somebody else dictate for you, especially if you're talking about a woman saying, I a real man. How's she gonna tell? She can't identify. She's not a man, so how's she gonna tell you what a real man? Now I can see maybe if that young lady grew up with actually seeing what a real man. Maybe she grew up with a father in the house and things like that. But majority of the ones that say that, they haven't even been around a real man. They don't even have a father.
And that's the crazy thing about it, because the one that's saying I want a real man,
yeah.
This is gonna blow your mind. The one that say I want a real man, you meet him in the club, right? I'm looking for a real man.
Right.
They come home, they take their hair off their head, put it on the dresser. They take they got breast implants, they got fake fingernails.
Yeah.
And you asking for a real man.
Yeah.
But you ain't even real yourself. You only gonna attract what you are. So if you keep attracting no good dudes, you keep attracting bomb dudes, then what are you putting out to the world? And me always watching a video about and we talking about dating, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even me and TJ were in talking one time. So it's two different conversations. So let's go to your conversation. We were talking about the women of today have a fictional, a false sense of what they're looking for in a man. They say the term, I want a real man, and they go down the list. He got to be blessed, by God. Got to be hung like a horse. He got to be financially stable. He got to be good with kids. He got to be handsome. He got to be faithful. He got to be all this. And you looking at her, you ain't even half of what you just called out.
Yeah, they call it 666. Some people call it the 3 6s. 6 feet tall, 6 figures, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, he got to have at least a 6-inch penis.
Right.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. All you need is 3 inches. Because the men in China know that the clitoris is only 3 inches inside. Because it's all you need to have 3 inches. 6. That's a bonus. You know what I mean? You might get some shakes and shivers on 10. But all you need is 3, right? So the women are they're loaning and they're trying to wish themselves into a situation that if this guy does exist, the perfect guy.
Right.
How many women do you think would qualify to date this guy if he got 6 figures? Come on now.
Now you stepping on some toes because you're talking about qualifying. You can't tell people that they can't qualify or even bring up the word qualify because now they feel a certain type of way. You talking about reality versus in their mind, they're like, what do you mean I can't? I could qualify. I deserve this. Even though I have the fake hair, even though I have the fake breast, even though I have
that disqualifies you.
But to them, they like, hey, I could. And the reason why, because I get, especially nowadays, I get so much validation because of social media. All I got to do is jump from this app to this app. If I don't get validation on Facebook, I get it on Instagram. If I don't get it on Instagram, I get it on here. you know, and the validation. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the validation. They get validation from so many guys walking down the street trying to talk to them. Now, these aren't guys. These may not, I'll say 95% of these guys may not be trying to actually get to know you or date you or even what they say, wife you up. These are just guys that's trying to holler at you. But they feel like that's validation. So they feel like they're qualified to ask for whatever bounty, you know, that somebody, you know, this is what they need to pay for. You know, so when you say qualify, oh man, you stepping on toes.
Yeah, because think about it, if you, and this is, it goes back down to value. If you want somebody to value you, you have to either be able to meet them or exceed what they bring to the table. Right or wrong?
Absolutely.
I agree.
You're asking for a guy with 6 figures, but you make 25,000. Even if you met the other qualification with the looks and all this kind of stuff, what is going to happen the moment you ask to bring your part of the finances to the table?
Oh, they're not gonna do that.
That's true.
A lot of them are looking
Because
at that.
this is how relationships get unbalanced.
This is true.
When you
Yeah.
go into a relationship already unbalanced,
Yeah.
then it's always going to be a power struggle because this man is going to feel like because he makes more money, he deserves more respect, so he don't have to do all this other stuff you ask him for because my money is taking care of all this kind of stuff. But when you come to the table with equal finances as this guy, then you don't give him that power to say, put up with this cheating that I'm doing because I'm taking care of you financially. When you're able to bring to the table some stuff as well, then you kind of even the playing field because, yeah, I brought in 6 figures last year too, so I need you to pipe down on your end because I'm able to do the same thing you're doing and I can do everything else you're doing. So when a woman comes to the table with a list, 6 foot tall, 6 figures, 6 inches, you know what I'm saying, no kids, no extra baby mama drama and all that kind of stuff. You gotta be able to meet this brother at the same, you know what I'm saying, the same cusp because if you got, 3 kids and 5 baby daddies.
Come on, bro. That'd be the worst one. They'll have
be baby mama free.
yes, they will have multiple baby daddies, baby fathers, however you want to coin it. They will have that. And, a lot of them feel like, and it's weird because a lot of in their minds, and it's one or two things going on, I think. It's not so much that I don't think there's so much that they believe it because there is a such thing as cognitive dissonance. There is a such thing that's real. But I think a lot of it is they're trying to see how much they can get away with. You know what I'm saying? They want you to think that they're believing that. So, say for instance, a young lady that has three, not just 3 children, but 3 different fathers. Okay. And have never been married. But she has those. She'll look at and say she might make $60,000 a year.
Right.
Okay. She will look at you, me. Say for instance, if we was making $60,000 a year or even $100,000 a year.
Right.
In her mind, she still would believe that she's better. In her mind, she would think she's better than you and she can command. This is what that she can command. She doesn't understand or she refuses to accept marketplace value, which is a real thing. She refuses to accept that even if you don't even want to think about marketplace value, she refuses to accept that those children by other guys, that's going to be a negative connotation to the guy that she's trying to get to buy her.
But that brings her value down. We was talking about this in the office about women being upset because when they had their first kid, a man said they lose their value.
Yeah.
If you're going to put your value in something, you're going to put your value into something that is like less wear and tear.
Yeah.
You can have 2 cars, 2019 Dodge Challenger, that's red, 2019 Dodge Challenger that's black. One of them has 100,000 miles. Done been in an accident on the Carfax Might have been a fender bender. Might not have no airbags deployed, but it might have been a fender bender. 100,000 miles. Same car. The other one is 30,000 miles. Perfect condition. Which one are you driving?
You're gonna drive the one with the less wear and tear.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So even though they're the same year, same make and model, some people feel like when you get to 100,000 miles, it's just been broke into. You can drive it better. But that fender bender, in your mind as a driver, you already know somebody done beat this thing up.
Oh yeah.
Somebody done hit it. Yeah, it drives. Yeah, I can open it up. It drives a little smoother. But I'm in my mind, it's like it's done been tapped.
Not the same.
So it loses value.
Yeah.
Same car. So you got two women same exact age. One of them might not be a virgin per se, but might only have maybe two partners her whole life. Have little experience in life.
Yeah.
This other one might have had 10, 15, and then had 2 kids. Same age. And you making the decision who you gonna wife? Who you gonna pick?
Man.
Because if you go with the one with the kids, you know, you gotta deal with the kids and their daddies and the other family.
The least miles.
Versus the one that ain't got no baby drama going on. Your child gonna be the first child she ever push out of her womb. They lose value. And that's the part they don't understand. And also, on top of that, when you're talking about what kind of man you want and a perfect man, if I was to flip that paper on the other side right down my list, need to be able to cook, clean, you know what I'm saying, do stuff that the old women used to do back in the day, sew, you know what I'm saying, if I need her to do something in the yard, you add value when you can do that kind of stuff. I might not need you to, but just know that you can do that. Boom. If I'm on my leg broke, and I can't cut the grass.
Right.
Is my grass gonna get 10 feet tall, or my woman gonna go out there and cut that grass and say, "I got you, boo"? You know what I mean?
It's important.
So they're asking you to be something that they're not able or willing to be themselves. You know, most modern day women don't know how to cook that well.
Yeah.
It's true.
Most modern day women don't even like doing laundry as opposed to even keeping the house clean. But they expect for you to go out there and make all the money and pay all the bills. And when you come home from work after being out all day, you got to come home to an unclean house. You got to come home to a box meal, a reservation, or, you know, pick up some, you know, and you have to wait until she feels like giving her body to you to say, let me get my stress out.
Right.
So you have to.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it don't even matter if it's black, white, polka dotted, green, Mexican, Asian, whatever it is. You know, you have to deal with certain things in every racial background.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you make a solid point on the like as far as when you say flip that paper over, because that kind of speaks to the cognitive dissonance of that they're so selfish. A lot of these women, and of course I guess I gotta say this because when we talk about this, when we talk about this, we're not saying all. You know what I'm saying? Like, because some people will see this and think, you know, you're talking about all. It's not all. There's a lot. We know there's not all. But, you know, I just had to say that because some people will be like, oh, they're saying all. No, we're not saying all. But just because we're not saying all, don't mean that there are not some. There are some. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of women that they feel when they go out, they're so selfish. They're not even concerned. They don't even stop to think about what possibly could you, as the guy say the guy, the end result, the consumer, the guy that you're trying to get to be with you, date you, they're not even concerned to think about or consider what you would want.
Mm-hmm.
They're just thinking about what for them. Oh, I want a man that can do this. I want a man. So they're not even considering that. That's the most troubled part. They're not saying like, hey, you run into a lot of women. They'll talk about, I want to be married. I want this, I want that. But how many of those women are saying, hey, I want to be a wife? They're not saying I want to be a wife. That you don't hear that conversation echo or in the echo chamber as much as I want to be married. I want a man. I want a man. I want a good man. I want this. I want that. And so like for brothers, for men, period, to be honest, we have to do a better job at qualifying and vetting women. We have to vet these women, because if you do not vet these women, this is why you keep going around having these headaches.
Yes. Yes.
Or like you said, having the unbalanced relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like I know guys, they just already come to the table under the auspices or under the impression that they have to, the whole happy wife, happy life syndrome.
Where did that come from?
That's a whole nother story.
What idiot came up with that and said that was the order? I don't even know nothing about that.
That's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? But this is they assume like, hey, this is what I could do. I don't want no trouble, whatever. I have to please this woman. And it's like, okay, when you automatically opt in for that, just like you do credit, right?
Yeah.
So when you opt in for that, you automatically are set up where you as the man are really discounted. Your value is not as much as hers.
That's really, if you look at it, it's really an insult for a woman to say happy wife, happy life.
At least that's the least it is an insult.
Because that means from that point on, like you said from the beginning, your whole life is made to, if she ain't happy, then the house ain't happy.
Yeah.
So really it's saying, as long as she ain't itching,
yeah,
we all good.
We good.
So you gotta check the temperature based off
Her.
Are we going to be good today? How we doing today? How we good?
Right,
all right. Now I make sure. Now, I can't come out today, boy, because everything ain't good over here.
You become like I've heard people say like you become like a concubine serf. Like really, that's your position. And it what's funny is that you sign up for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You go in willingly. It ain't like you go in and it's like a trap. Like you go in, you like, yeah, I'm here, and they like, oh damn, they got me. No. You sign up like I think I'm gonna go in there and be that concubine serf. I put your rucksack on and you're going in there willingly. Because why? Because maybe some other guys, some other males, some other men that you've talked to, they're like, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
And that just goes back to that switch.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to your mama and your grandmother from whenever they was coming up, they waited on a man hand and foot.
Mm.
And some of them waited on a man hand and foot knowing that he had an outside relationship or a kid down the street, still waited on his man hand and foot. They knew their place. They knew how to be pursued. And they knew how to bring something to the table. If they was lacking financially, then that house would be in tip-top shape. If they was stay-at-home wives and they didn't have a job because their husbands took care of them, then when he come home from work, dinner's already on the table hot, the dishes have been cleaned, the kids have been put to bed, they done ate, the kids' school is 100% on all their grades, their house was immaculate, and before he went to bed at night, she's sucking all the doggone intention out of his doggone head so that he can lay down with a good night's sleep.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that know from the back in the day, they know what they brought to the table.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to do all this work in the workforce. My husband take care of me, so my job is to make sure he is taken care of. And they didn't mind doing that. Now, because of what we talking about, dating back then versus dating back now, dating in a new world, the women want to be in control of who they bring to the house. The women want to be in control of who they allow to do this. And now I'm thinking that the reason why they're so aggressive now is because they know that they have to get their bills paid. And the way they get their bills paid is by presenting themselves to be more attractive in the club. I need this rent paid. It's $800. I'm gonna get it done. Let me show a little tail. Let me get the best guy on the scene, and let me get him so I can rock his world, so I can get this rent paid. And if he happens to have all these other attributes, I done won, and I got him. If not, then it's on to the next one. When before, if you was looking for an actual mate, then all that stuff come with territory. Now it's like, on the first night, if you ain't hitting on nothing, you about to get none of my money. I'm not finna marry you because I gotta be married to this for another 40 years. I ain't about to do that. So let me test drive the car before I pay for it. Let me do the walk through the house before I live in it. Let me sample the meal before I buy it. Man, I don't like the appetizer. You take off my check. I don't want that. Yeah, man, we good. We can't do nothing else. And it's like, that's all I get. Well, hey, that's all. That's all you present yourself to be to me is just an appetizer. Don't get mad at me after we get the appetizer done. I done went on to another restaurant.
Yeah.
Why? Because you done showed me everything I need to see.
Exactly.
You done showed me the whole. Yeah, you're not even mad because that's not my flavor.
Right.
Nah, I'm good.
I tell you, man, we actually, like, I've heard people talk about, say, like, patriarchy, you know, even matriarchy. They talk about that stuff. But in all actuality, right now, we're in more of a gynocracy right now. That's what we're dealing with. And the difference between gynocracy and, say, matriarchy is where women still ruled in a matriarchy society or a matriarchal society, but there was no political investment behind it. With a gynocracy, it's backed by policy, and so that goes into what you're seeing. You know, what you're seeing right now, all those symptoms. That's because we're in a gynocracy. A woman, why they're so aggressive, and why, you know, whether it's physical, verbal, whatever, you know what I mean, they can get away with a lot of stuff more because there's policy. There's backing that. They can go out, have multiple children, you know, by different men. But this is the thing. See, they say a woman's nature is, you know, she wants to deal with, you know, I don't know if you want to call it alpha male, whatever. You know, she wants to deal with this guy, alpha male, right? But the thing is, an alpha male is only going to deal with a certain amount of mess. He's only going to deal with a certain type of woman. So, say a woman that doesn't want to bring her A game, you know, she want to get something for nothing, you know, whatever, want to come outside with bonnets on their heads and house shoes and flip flops, or, you know, whatever stuff, or should I say stuff that belong in the house, don't want to actually present herself properly. That alpha guy, he understands his position. He's like, look, I'm not going to deal with that. What happens is she understands that, and she'll have a baby, but the thing is, once that alpha guy is like, I'm not going to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dealing with that. So he has a lot of options. He has tons of options. So he doesn't have to deal with her. So what she'll do is she'll go deal with a guy that really doesn't understand what's going on. He's caught up on maybe looking at her, she'll have a baby by this guy. You know what I'm saying? Women have probably 30 something forms of birth control. And once they get pregnant, it's like over 30 some forms of birth control. Once they get pregnant too, they still carrying it for 9 months. So they'll blame the guy. They always blame the guy. Oh, well, you shouldn't have stuck your penis in her and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, what about her responsibility too? But we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is what she'll do. She'll have a baby by this guy, whatever. She'll have baby by multiple guys, but she don't care because she's getting assistance. A lot of these women will jump on assistance. You know what I'm saying? They'll have assistance from their mother, their auntie. They're all band together. They won't talk to her and tell her about accountability. Accountability, like for what? Mm-hmm. So they'll just keep supporting this bad behavior, and then all they want is say that guy that's really not aware. I don't know if you want to consider him a beta guy or whatever term you want to use. They'll deal with that guy just because he'll pay or he might provide a roof over the head. But she will emasculate this guy. That's the thing. See, the difference between the guy that's not going to deal with, that's not going to take no mess, say an alpha guy, he's not going to let no one emasculate him. Like you said earlier. Yeah. We all understand when we wake up, we're men. Mm-hmm. It's a value to that. Mm-hmm. So he understands his value. This other guy's just going in the wind. He doesn't understand his value. He's just chasing some box. That's all he's chasing or whatever. So she'll deal with this guy and he'll provide. You know what I'm saying? He'll provide. He may be effeminate. He'll provide, but he's not understanding what's going on. So she'll deal with him. And then she'll get rid, and then she'll go with the next. But the funny thing about it is, because of her true nature, she's not going to really have respect. The male will be in the house. He's a male, but she won't have respect for him. That's why he can't call the shots. That's why he accepts happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm saying? That's why he don't mind being a stepfather to a woman that has multiple different children by multiple different men. Because he's like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. But he's not controlling anything because we're in that type of society, she doesn't have to have control or be under the control of a man. She can just do whatever she want to do. Right. She just do it. That's all she has to do.
And that right there, and I think that it goes back to when the order was switched.
Yeah.
If we go back to Genesis and talk about the Adam and Eve story and how, if you look at that story, okay, Adam got the communication with God, but because he didn't communicate to his wife, she went and done something. But when she did it, there was no issue until he done it. When he done it, the order was automatically, the communication was between him and God. But if you look at the punishment, when God said, this is the punishment because you've done this.
Oh, yeah.
He punished Adam, he punished the snake, he punished Eve. He said Eve's punishment was because you've done this, your desire shall be to your husband and he shall rule over you. Mm-hmm. And you'll be in pain during childbirth, right? That's right. So before that, she was created for the purpose of him, his pleasure. That was what she was created for. So how did this happy wife, happy life come into play? Because after that was switched, he shall be your ruler and your desire should be to him. That's what she was supposed to be doing the rest of her life. Making sure that her husband was taken care of. Sarah called Abraham Lord and all this kind of stuff like the Bible. Now all of a sudden, because I don't know, the devil done put some kind of twist into the situation. Yeah. Now women want to be in charge of their own body. They want to be in charge of their own stuff. They want to be equal to a man. How you gonna be equal to something that came out of you? Like you know what I mean? God took the dirt and created Adam. But he took a piece of Adam real to make the woman. So now you're a part of me, but you want to be equal to me, but you was created to be for my pleasure and for a help me. Now you want to be dominant over. See, that's a twist all in itself to want to be dominant over a man. I know plenty of women that are dominant over their husband. Oh, and all he provides for them is their sexual satisfaction.
That's it.
And the trophy of, I got a husband. That's all he provides for me.
Yeah. And this is one thing I noticed too. This is just my personal observation. So I noticed when men are, say a man is ruling a household effectively, okay, men say, for instance, when he has money, he has income, he has resources, a man will tend to, I have money, I want to take care of my family. So basically, I'm looking at the whole team and I want the team to flourish. You know, it's not only about me. You know what I'm saying? I want this for the whole team. So I mean, like, say if you want to like it into, say, vision, a man would be on like in the high rise, maybe on the penthouse, maybe the 50th floor, and he can see, I don't know, maybe about 15, 20 miles out. That's his view. That's his vision. Mm-hmm. He can see that far. He can see what's going on. Whereas when typically when a woman is in control in that same environment, she's probably has a view she's on the ground level looking out. Right. And it's not that deep.
That's the chicken coop mentality versus the ego mentality. Yeah. And eagles can see farther because they are looking at the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Versus being a chicken coop, I can only see what's inside this room. Exactly. So men have to make decisions based off of the whole picture. Yeah. And I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago about how we are talking about women being emotional. Yeah. Men are really the true emotional beings. Oh, yeah. Because we have to go through so many emotions in one day just to fit in this role of being a man. So we have to be able to see the big picture, and we almost have to be able to predict other people's actions based off. When you're driving a car, they teach you how to do defensive driving. You got to be able to predict the other car's movement. So when a man looks at a picture or looks at a situation, he has to back all the way out and give it that ego look. Yeah. And say, if I do this person may do that. I have to compensate for. So we got to play chess.
Oh yeah.
While the whole world is playing checkers.
Yep.
I got to be able to predict your move and your move while I'm making my move. And I got to explain this to somebody who ain't even on the same board. She on a checkerboard and we on chess. And I got to explain what I'm doing. What's a rook? What's a knight? God dog it. Now I got to stop, pause, explain. Okay, in the game of chess. I don't understand. All right, well, just rock with me then while I'm making this decision. And we got to make the decision, and we got to be able to predict other people. And so we go through about 8 to 9 emotions in a day. But the woman gets to act on the emotion. We have to think before we make a decision. And they make a decision before they think.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
See how that is twisted?
Yeah.
Because when you talk to a couple about a situation, a woman might say, oh, I talked to my husband like this, and he don't even seem to care. Why? Because he hasn't done anything. There you go. Pause the story. He hasn't done anything because he's still trying to rationalize the facts. Right. He's still trying to account the cost. He's still trying to find out if he make this move, is the other person going to counter? And so sometimes you have to wait a doggone minute to see if the other car's going to clear before you can make a decision. Right. But because a woman coming from the chicken coop view, she only see, I got to make a decision right now and I got to do it now. She come with the J.G. Wordsworth approach. I got to do it right now.
I want my money right.
I want it now. Yeah. And the husband is like, hold on, wait a minute. Let me wait to see what he going to do. And I might talk to other guys, but because I ain't talked to it to you yet, you say I'm not concerned.
Now check this out. Now imagine this. Say that same example. You on the high rise. You in the high rise on the 50th floor. You looking out and you like, oh man, what expressway is around? What expressway is that? 50? Is it 50? Or what expressway we got out here? Yeah. Just give me
40,
95. Say you looking out over 95 and you like, man, that seems to be a clog up, or it seems like there's an accident about 5 miles down. And she's on the ground level the chicken coop vision. She has chicken coop vision, and she's like, what are you talking about? There's no accident around here. And you're like, listen, I'm telling you, I'm seeing an accident. No, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go whatever way I want. So it's like that need to be right is in there too. And you're like, so what's funny is they talk about women will always throw love up and all this type of stuff, right? And I always say that's almost like gaslighting. That's because, so you trying to tell me I'm not showing love because I'm trying to look out for my whole entire family from being in danger versus you'll tend to look out for you and then maybe your child, maybe the child. You'll do it so bad. Well, I hear women most of the time, and this is with husbands that have children with these men. They will be in a habit, and they will always say, my kids. They won't say our kids. They won't say our kids. They'll say my kids. And so, but that kind of
and that comes from not to cut you off. It comes from. So it was a point in time where there's a lot of absent fathers. Mm-hmm. Women make this statement. We don't always do what we want to do, but we do what we got to do. They have to take care of the kid.
Of course.
It's an old saying, mama's babies, papa's maybes. Mm-hmm. So over the course of not knowing if the dude's going to hang around, even if you're married to a woman for 10, 15 years, there's no guarantee that dude's going to stay there.
Yeah.
He always has the option, if he gets tired of your crap, to leave.
Yeah.
But as a mother, because it come out of your womb, you are forever indebted to that child because this is your baby. Mm-hmm. So whether this joker here or not, this is still my child.
Yeah.
He might accuse me of being unfaithful and say the baby ain't his, but it's always going to be my child. So when they say my child, they're talking from a place of this is always going to be my child. Whether you accept the baby or not, or whether you even accept me or not, it's my child. But the problem is when you say it's my child to benefit you,
there we go.
but it's our child, you know what I mean? When you got other alternative motives in mind. If I say I need to use the kid to file my taxes to get a tax break, this is my goddamn kid.
Yeah. Leverage.
But if you're trying to get some insurance, this is your son. What he wasn't my son. I'm trying to claim my taxes. I ain't my dog son now.
Well, if he or she does something bad, I noticed that.
All the bad stuff comes from the daddy.
And this is gonna go back to this is gonna go back to the black community. This is what I noticed. This is one thing that trips me out. How is it that you'll have all these single mothers? They will take the onus. They will raise their hand. People giving them fives, everything. They like, look, you are the backbone of the community, queens. You have done a good job. And they will take that on they will strap it on their back, they wear it on their chest, they bump their chest, beat their chest, proud, they sticking them out. But when you actually look at the black community, look at the condition that it's in. Something, or just even personally with the children, when that child is not performing well, when they're not doing that. And this could be a father that's nowhere in the picture. They'll take the good stuff. They'll take all the rewards. But you say you're the backbone of the community. But you don't want to take that L. You won't take that L. And that's what when you talk about, that's why with fathers are so necessary in the house, and men are so necessary to be leaders, because a leader realizes you take the pros with the cons, the L's with the losses. Even in the military, if you got a captain and one of his subordinates, say if they're on a mission, one of his subordinates failed the mission, the captain does not, or the sergeant, whoever's in charge, they do not blame the subordinate. Even when the subordinate makes a mistake, it's a reasoning for that. They do not blame that subordinate. That captain or whoever's in charge takes on that responsibility.
Goes down with the ship.
He goes down with the ship. And one of the reasons why is because hopefully that subordinate, as they're going up in their career, hopefully that subordinate he's going to want to eventually become or replace that captain. And so he has to start to mirror all those different attributes. And so if he understands, okay, the captain took this one for the team, and he keeps seeing that and it keeps getting drilled in his head, eventually he would start doing that. But see, and he'll take the accountability. But you can't not want to take the bad and just take the good and try to say, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You want to run a shop. You want to run a business. You want to run a business, but you don't want to take accountability. You don't want no one to tell you what to do. You want to call the shot. You want to do everything without any type of instruction. And then you want people to let you run the show. And then when it's burning to the ground, you don't even take the accountability. Oh, it's not my fault it burned. It's not my fault the business wasn't profitable. Wait a minute. When you let me do it, so it's just like, wow, that's just like fighting a woman. A man fighting a woman is a no-win situation. Because if you fight her, say you fight her, right? If you win, anybody gonna give you kudos for that. If you lose, you definitely ain't gonna get kudos for that. So it's a no-win situation.
No win. So
us as men, you can't let, just like when they say, hey, she needs to let me be the man. What? You are a man. You can't let nobody be a man. You know, I never hear women say, well, he won't let me be the woman. You see how retarded that sounds?
It's one of those things. We got to, and as men, like you say, we have to do better jobs at communication. We are bad communicators when it comes down to, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this show, so that we can get into an environment where we can communicate with each other, because I can talk to you about my problems and it's like, okay, we're on the same page, but I ain't gonna necessarily take my problems to the opposite sex because I'm getting to an argument, right? And you can't win, right? But we need to be better communicators so we can be better leaders. And one of the things I learned about leadership when I was in the military, when we march in form, listen, not in formation, but when we in the field and we're hiking, the leader is always in the back and not the front.
Yes, sir.
Most leaders think that they got to lead from the front.
No, you don't.
And you will take all these leadership classes and they'll tell you, you got to lead from the front. Take the bull by the horns and lead. But what happens if I'm patrolling in a war zone and I'm in the front and something happens? What do I have to do to ensure that my team is still behind me? What I got to do?
You gotta make sure.
You got to turn around.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
If I'm turning around to check on my team, then who's behind me?
The bullet.
The enemy. So they put the leader in the rear because now I can see everybody in front of me. And I can call my shots from the back to the front. They can still hear me from behind them. Turn left. Get down. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
It was just like Forrest Gump said, he was always saying, get down, the Charlies are coming. And so I got down because the Charlies was coming.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to lead from the rear. So when you have a family and you want to make sure you're keeping them all in your sight.
Yeah.
Keep them all in front of you. Keep them in your sight. Because just like he was talking about being on that 50-foot, that 50 level skybox, you can see all of the traffic ahead.
Yep.
And you can see the position your team is in from the rear. You can call it out. They have to be able to listen. See, people always they always focus on what they see. And you can only see what you can hear.
Yeah.
Right? You looking at something and you hear something and it don't line up. You're like, did I just hear something?
Right.
You know what you just saw?
Yes, sir.
That's why you watch these shows and see the UFO and you saying, is my eyes deceiving me? You know what your eyes see.
Right.
But if you hear something, your hearing will make your eyes change. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
They did a study where they had this little word study of this person saying, what was it? bill. You see the word bill, and you keep saying the word bill.
Oh, I got you.
Bill, and all of a sudden you stop saying the word bill and start saying peel, but all you can still hear is bill because you seeing the word bill, but he just started saying peel. So in 2020, I said this. People say 2020 is perfect vision. 2020 was a long, exhausting year.
Yes, it was.
But I tell people all the time, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I don't care what you see. It's not what you see that's going to actually change your mind, is it?
No.
It's what you hear is going to change your mind. Because you was watching the news and you were seeing the numbers on the screen about the coronavirus that took this many bodies, but you didn't react to it until you heard how many bodies were taken. Like, I just saw the number, but I ain't until I heard it. So you can have 2020 vision all day, but faith comes by hearing, and by hearing the word of God. So it's not your hearing affects your sight. You don't believe me? Talk to Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles. They can tell you that you cannot see something, but if somebody can describe it to you in detail, now a picture can appear in your brain because you ain't never saw them before.
Yeah.
How do I know what a tree look like? Because I have described it to your mind with my words, and you hear me. You can hear me in 2020, but in order to see me, you got to hear me because what your body, what your mind hears is what you're gonna paint the picture of.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing that ain't no good men around, if you keep hearing that, all of a sudden you're gonna start seeing men not do nothing. You're gonna say, "Well, God dog, it ain't no good men around."
Man.
So stop going by what you see and start going by what you hear. You're hearing more and more men are coming, stepping up to the plate.
Oh yeah.
Stepping up to coming to the table and doing the right thing. But because they've been focused on what they've been seeing for the last 45, 50 something years, they're still not able to hear when a man says, "I want to be with my kids." Or a man says, "Oh, I love you." Oh, well, I was always taught that love is what love does and all this old dumb stuff. And we know love is an action word, but this is the action behind it. I'm still paying these bills. That's the action that I love you. I ain't bust you upside your head. That's the action I love you. But because I'm not out buying you everything you ask me for, you don't relate that to being love.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or because I'm not kissing the goddamn turd out your booty, you don't relate that as being love. But I have refrained myself from doing something that would be contradictory to what, but I'm still here. I'm still showing up. I'm still being the father that I need to be. And that's the part that society needs to start focusing on in terms of what they've been seeing for all these years. What are you hearing?
Yeah.
If a man tells you I got something on my mind, listen to him.
Yeah.
If a man tell you I'm getting frustrated, listen to him. Because women and men in that terms are very different. A woman acts off emotion, a man acts off of logic. And what may be logical for a man may not be logical for a woman. A man can say, I'm tired, I'm fed up with it, and his heart can be gone for years before his body decides to make that transition. A woman can say she done with it, and the next day she done.
Yeah.
It ain't logic. Because I know coming up, when the old man say it's cheaper to keep her, they wasn't saying that for no reason. They were saying it for experience. They know what they were saying. If I decide to walk away from this situation right now, I can't afford to get out of this situation.
No.
So what I gotta do? I gotta buy my time. I gotta keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Eventually, when I get to the place where I can afford to walk away, then that's when I can leave. Yeah. But if you're in a chicken coop, I want out this marriage right now. I done found the phone number in your face.
Well, I'm telling you, man, like, it's funny because a lot of people, and I think that statistic is starting to come out more and more, where people are becoming more privy to those numbers as far as divorce they say it could be anywhere from 50 to 60% of divorces, right, happening in the U.S. But what's funny is it's another part of that statistics what they don't talk about, and it could be for certain whatever reason. Out of the 50 to 60 whatever some odd divorces there are in the U.S., 70 to 80% of those have been initiated by women, and which is really weird. And it's funny because, and I'll say like shout out to Kevin Samuels. I watch his content, and I watch a lot of other YouTube content, or some people say YouTubians, the YouTubians. And it's funny because I listen to a lot of the women that call in, and it's you can just set a clock by it, by their responses. They'll say, yeah, they were in a relationship, or they were engaged, or they were married, whatever, however they want to frame it. And they'll say, he'll ask, well, what happened? Well, yeah, it just didn't work out. And they'll say, well, I got divorced, or he'll say, well, what happened? Well, they'll say, well, it was toxic, or the guy was abusive. And it's like, and this is probably 90-something% of the women are always saying that the guy was abusive. And it's like, wait a minute. So all of you guys are getting abused, and it kind of goes back into, like you said, so now people are hearing this, and once again, just like they did with The Color Purple, they painted the black man as the black boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? With Danny Glover character. They do a great job of painting us as the black boogeyman, but it's like, wait a minute. You're saying that this guy, I'm not saying that there were not cases where a guy was actually abusive. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta qualify this,
That's right.
But they'll just keep saying he was abusive. And they're just letting them, instead of them actually working on the actual marriage, and I'm saying this from experience because I was married before. Shout out to my ex-wife. I was married before, and I'm gonna tell you, she said some. It was just alarming. She tells me, "Hey, I want a divorce." This was after we was about 3 years in. You want a divorce? Okay, what for? What? What's the reason and why?
Right.
Because you're not fawning over me anymore. Pardon me?
What?
You don't gaze in my eyes any longer. Wait, hold on, time out. I'm not cheating on you.
Right.
I'm not abusing you physically, emotionally, nothing. I'm not insulting you. I'm not doing that. But because I'm not fawning over you. because we so in other words, it sounds like to me she wanted to have it to be like, when you first meet someone and they, because relationships have phases, just like a child, like a person. They have a childlike phase, and then you go into that preteen phase that, right before they're adults, ugly, they look ugly, and then they go into preteen, and then teenage, and then adult. And that's how marriages, successful marriages even will go, and a lot of people, they just addicted to that newness. They want it to be the butterfly type of deal.
And I get that part. But here's where you put it back on the person. Are you doing the same thing you was doing when I was fawning over you? Because coming to bed with a rag on your head every goddamn night, that ain't attractive at all.
Man. Or gaining poundage.
Gaining extra weight and not wanting to get them off.
Like, come on. Yeah. I'm talking about significant. I'm not saying she gained significant poundage. I'm not saying, that. But what I'm saying is a lot of women, they feel like, I don't know why, well, I don't know what they feel, but what we see is that a woman, she will, she'll even go get a trainer because she's like, hey, I'm trying to fit into this wedding dress. I want to drop 30, 40 pounds,
See, you would change for other people to view you as good, but you're not willing to change for the one that you want to change for you.
Exactly.
Or even change for yourself. Yeah. Because you can't. That's just like a woman with issues, like I say, like psychological issues. Say a woman that's going through counseling and she needs to get some stuff, like it's mental things she needs to get done. She needs to actually just handle her business. She will expect to meet a guy, and she expecting this guy to sweep her off her feet and for him to fix the parts that's hurt, that's broken inside of her. When that's not that man's job. That man cannot fix it. He can inspire you. He can do that. He can inspire you, but he can't fix you.
Can't fix you, but we're given the responsibility to do all of this and fix this, and we become heroes and Superman because in some cases we have the ability to encourage you into a new life, and you say, "Oh, he fixed me." Ain't nobody fixed you. Is that you was inspired and encouraged to do something better. Yeah. But a lot of time we're handed broken pieces. Now, here's the scenario. Now, what do you expect out of this situation? You walk into a facility, a mental institution, to look for a wife. And they tell you that these women are rated from 1 to 10. 1 meaning that they are functional in society. They just got maybe a one loose screw. But the people in 10 can't be cohabited with anybody. And you have to walk through this mental institution and you looking for your potential next wife, and you actually find old number 1. And say, well, God dog, she don't seem that bad. We having good conversation. She done had similar experiences as me. Matter of fact, she's so much on my level, I could be in here as a number 1 and still be able to function. They would never know it.
Right.
And you take this woman home as a number 1. Y'all done talked. Y'all done got together. 5 years later, the number 1 turns into a 10. Or over the course of years, she done went from 1 to 10. And when she gets to 10, you say, how could you do this to me? What did you expect? She look at you and say, you got me from the place as a number 1. What do you...
I think she forged her paperwork. She was actually number 6. And she was like,
so what's happening with these relationships, man, is you go into a place of dysfunction.
Yes.
A club.
Come on now.
Meeting somebody who you trying to spend the rest of your life with. And just because y'all kicked it and y'all had a good time, a good drink, you had a couple good dates, y'all got to have good sex, and you saying this is the one for me, and then 5 years later when you find this joker still in the club, you wondering, well, how in the world after 5 years you still, where you meet me at?
Man, that's what I said.
You don't go to a club to find...
The vetting process the vetting process that's key.
Eventually you have to realize as a woman that whatever you did to get this man, you have to do this to keep this man. Because our minds will go back to, I remember when I first got with you, boy, I was just...
but they'll reverse it. They'll say the same. They'll say that's what you're supposed to do, because it's almost like, let's get, once again, accountability or the lack thereof. They want to get the heat off of them. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, well, you got to do, he used to do this for me. He used to bring me flowers. Whatever the heck he used to do. He used to, he used to buy me oven mitts that I used to love, his favorite, whatever. And then 3 years later, they'll say he don't do that. He doesn't do that stuff no more. I understand. But then, okay, like you were saying, what about you though? What have you been doing or not doing? What have you been letting your body slip? You know what I'm saying? Oh well, I'm just saying. I ain't got time to work out.
I don't need to do all this, girl.
I got him. And then once again, like we can go back to, in the gynocracy and stuff, because it's policy. Hey, because states, they're really tired. It's a drain on the state for the system. It's a drain on the state for a person to, for the state to have to support these women that have single mothers, these single mothers and stuff like that. So these states are they're looking at these men. They're looking at us and say, hey man, y'all got to start fitting the bill. Right. Y'all got to foot the bill. And so that's the incentive. So they're like, hey, they're trying to jump out of the marriage, and because they have support. They have this, they have that. We don't have that. And so that's why they're so quick to penalize men, like, oh, it didn't work out. Well, okay. Well, you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay her this, her that, her this, her that.
And I believe that it's a tragedy for you to have to pay somebody the rest of their life to live a certain lifestyle that they had while they was with you, or and I can get real deep into this whole child support system and how it pertains to men today, but that has been the direction that the society has taken us down that road. Wasn't before, it wasn't like that.
Nah.
You come to a relationship and if you was wealthy, you have to sign what we call a prenuptial agreement, meaning that whenever we divorce, you take whatever you had and you're not access to nothing I got while we together, all this kind of stuff. But women will look at that and be insulted, like, how dare you?
That's not sexy. Don't you love me? What do you mean? What do you want a prenup for? It's like you're preparing to exit, like you have a B strategy. And it's like, okay, from a guy's perspective, or a guy that has resources, because that's really what it's about, or it has a huge factor in it. A guy's trying to protect his resources. He's investing in you, so you're the end consumer. You're the man. You're the end consumer. So because you're trying to invest in this woman, you're like, man, I don't want my investment messed up. So it's like, hey, let's go. Let's sign this prenup. You know what I'm saying?
Because you have women that prey on men like this.
All the time.
Prey on men that is capable of, you see somebody's potential when you're talking to him. Like, man, this guy here looks like he can, he's probably up and coming. Let me go ahead and get with him now, so I can secure my spot on this team. When he do get up, I can be secured. And then drain a person emotionally, just walk away and say, "Give me half, Eddie."
That's crazy.
Man, but this is what these women are training their daughters.
Oh man,
yeah.
From little kids. Talk about the 6'6". Where do you think that came from?
Yeah.
When these women talking to their daughters, child, make sure you find you a man that's at least 6 foot tall, that can take care of you. Make sure you got at least 6 figures. I mean, when you talking to your daughters, even me as a man talking to my daughters, the first thing you ask them when you talking to them, do he got a job?
Right.
Why? Because I don't want to have to keep fronting the bill all your life. You gotta find a dude to do that.
Right.
I want to know if he able to provide for you. Because if not, then I'm gonna have to do that, and I'm trying to get you ready for the world. So the women go to their daughters and say, make sure your man is able to this. If he ain't that, don't talk to him. And they go through their lives only focus on one type of man.
Yep.
If he ain't got money, I ain't trying to talk to him. Forget about the one who's up and coming.
Yeah.
The one who just need a little motivation, who could try to be the next billionaire. Yep. You want to go over his head and go look. And this is why you have the problem where you being abused, because you looked over the one who will love you the day you die because he don't look good or because he's not 6 foot tall. You went after the one that was already making 6 figures and thought he was going to be the one, and you forgot that money comes with a price.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he makes 6 figures, but he beat me upside my goddamn head every night. That ain't the one for you.
Well, they call it build-a-boo. So they say they don't want to build a boo. They say they don't want a guy that they have to work together with. They want this guy already made. So they could jump in. And it's like, wait a minute. So in other words, this is the part that a lot of women are not understanding. So you can want whatever you want to. Mm-hmm. You can want it all. I want $1 million a day. That's what I want. Yeah. But if I want to make that a reality, there's some work that's involved. Oh yeah. And I have to figure out if I can qualify. Do I have a skill set for that? How can I make that happen? Yeah. And so I'm bringing it into reality. But with them, whether it's, you want to call it conditioning or whatever, they're not taught, or they refuse to look at the reality of the situation and say, wait a minute, what do I have to do to qualify or get this type of guy? Or what does this guy want? what would this guy want from me?
Want from me
You know what
that
I'm
I can
saying?
bring to the table.
Right. What kind of woman am I? So if you're a woman, and you have women out here walking outside with bonnets on their heads, women outside with all this weave. You got women out here. Everything is. I mean, you can have a flat tire. You can have anything. Anything can happen. You have a flat tire, and your woman on the passenger side of the car won't even get out to go, are you okay? Everything okay? She'll just sit in there and be on the phone like, girl, yeah, we out here on so-and-so. I hope you hurry up and fix this thing because I'm tired of sitting here.
Right.
You're tired? You're not fixing this thing? How are you tired?
It's almost like just what you just saying. My mind just spider got dog an epiphany. Like, I'm sitting listening to this. Like, it's almost like you want equal opportunity.
Oh man, come on.
But you don't put no work in.
None.
Zero.
You want to be entitled. We talk about this couple. Entitled to having half of all his riches, half of everything he do. I want half the respect, half the accolades. But I want to sit and do nothing and get that half just because my vajayjay is.
Yeah. Or I'm attached to him in some kind of way.
I don't get it. Like he was saying, what are you doing to actually earn the half that you walk away with in the divorce? I'm watching the news and Bill Gates and his wife is going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And she gets a buttload of money, half.
Mm-hmm.
And he's cool with that.
Yeah.
But I bet you she actually worked to help him get some of that wealth. So she will be entitled to half. But it's time out for the ones coming to the party with an empty bag and leaving full.
They're ready to cash in.
And then not only leaving full, but I got to pay for you the rest of your life?
Oh, man.
Only because you met me at a time of my life. We had a time of our life. And when it's over with, now I got to pay you for the rest of your life?
Right.
Well, you going into like what they call Briffault's law, right? So Briffault's law is really has to do with, they say where a woman, whenever there's like resources involved, a woman, and especially if she have children, she will, as long as the person that she's involved with is being able to share their resources, and if that interest is not there any longer, if he's not sharing his resources with her, or say something happens to him, she has no issue with what they call like monkey branching. Mm-hmm. She has no issue like reaching for the next person. It could be a survival technique or whatever, but she has like, it's sort of like, that song back in the day was "What Have You Done For Me Lately" by Janet Jackson. Mm-hmm. You could sit here today. Oh, this is May, right? The end of May. You could sit here in all of April. You could have, your girlfriend, you could have dropped off at work every day, picked her up, went out of your way, let her use your car, whatever. You could have did all of this stuff, right? This is April. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, you inconvenienced yourself. Look, don't worry about it. I'll catch the bus. Okay, whatever. Come June, she will, and if she asks you for something and you say, look, I ain't got it.
Right.
She will, in her mind, she will say, well, what have you done for me, lady? What? Like, so all your stuff is forgotten. Yeah. That's like the thinking.
Stuff.
It's like a song they say, the first time I said no, it's like I never said yes.
Yeah.
And that's literally, and I'm going to get on me for a minute because I told you I had a story to tell.
Oh,
right?
yeah, let's do it.
That is really literally what happened to me the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to tell y'all the story. It's story time inside the den. So when I was, two stories, just to back to what you were saying. When I was with my first wife, back it up. I met Emmett Smith when I was fresh out of Marine Corps boot camp. Went to a football game in New Orleans. And I've always had dreams of playing football in NFL. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you put your dreams on hold to pursue other things in life, but the passion and the fire has always been, even now, I physically feel like I can go out there and do something on the football field. I know I can't, but it's the drive.
Yeah.
So I met Emmitt Smith in '99 after a football game. And Emmitt Smith, this is during a time where they had lost the Moose Johnston. Darryl Johnson had retired from a neck injury. And they was, they didn't have a solid, fullback. So I met Emmitt and let him know how much I, admired him as a player, and I patted my game after Emmitt. They called me Emmitt in high school and everything, and meeting him was like, it's one of very special times in my life. So I met Emmitt. Emmitt invited me to try out for the Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
He was doing a lot of recruiting, like he had his brother Emery Smith to come and try out and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, we're looking for a fullback. I could put a good word in for you, blah, blah, blah. They asked me football questions and all that kind of stuff. So me and him talk. So that was my first opportunity actually to get approached by an NFL player to come try out. Unfortunately, because I was in the Marine Corps, I'm a property of the United States. I can't sign another contract unless I pay my contract off for the Marine Corps, which is like $275,000 per contract. So that was the first little instance, right? So in the Marine Corps, I met my first wife, my kid's mother. We was together for probably about 2 years before we decided to separate. When I was separated, I got out the Marine Corps. And then I met one of the New Orleans Saints talent scouts. They had just come up with this semi-pro team called Voodoo. And the semi-pro team was who they would recruit from when they needed to scout for the New Orleans Saints. I'm still considered my prime during this time. Married to this woman, and we was in Mississippi, and we wasn't doing good. So we ended up separating. And, I was filing paperwork to get divorced from her for a good bit of 5 years. She refused to divorce me because she knew of the potential that I had to go get a contract. I turned the Saints down.
Oh, wow.
At this time, because I knew who I was married to. I'm not going to go ahead and get a contract and then end up getting a divorce, and then she get... half Eddie. I said, nah, I'm good.
Monkey branch.
You know what I'm saying? So this was one of the reasons why I was so angry with her for not turning me loose, because you were just hanging on to me for no reason at all.
Man.
I can't move forward with another woman because I'm still attached to you, and you don't want to divorce me because if something happened, I made a decision and I go get a contract. Damn, we still legally married. You owe me, Joe. I don't like that kind of play.
That's right.
Man.
Hurricane Katrina came, you know what I'm saying? I was telling her, sign the papers so we can get on my life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Bought the house while I was married to her, so she was entitled to some of that. So if I got any money for the house in Hurricane Katrina, because she was still attached to me, she would get some of the money. I said, I will burn this. I turned and burned it back. I'll burn it. I'll burn this house down before I give you half of my house. I wasn't playing. There's going to be the furniture moving right here. So I'll give you some of this money. You can't pay me enough to give you some of this money. So I had an opportunity. Look here. They're going to give me $40,000, $50,000. How about I just pay you off? You sign your name on it, say your name off the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you 10 grand just to get your name off of it, because I need this 40. I'm looking out for the team.
Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing to help you.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So, when somebody tell me something that I can't do, and it makes my wheels turn. I gotta prove them wrong, you know what I mean? So I was able to get the divorce done without her permission. Through way of publication. Publication divorce, she done went on with her life, got me stuck down here in Katrina. I don't know what my kids is at, boom. Put the ad in the paper, they run the ad in the paper, boom, and then she don't respond, boom, I'm divorced.
There it is.
Boom. She was like, I got papers in the mail saying we divorced, you got dog all right. Who do you think you talking to? You know what I mean? So that right there gave me a negative just thoughts about when someone hang on trying to wait till you come up in the world. Because think about if she had divorced me when I asked her the first time, and I would have went and pursued that NFL
Right.
career, and where I would have been in my life now if I would have, but because of not wanting to,
Yeah.
I got to go through the mud
Yeah.
to get what I got right now. And if I had to pay her a stipend or alimony, man, I would have been the most hated woman in the world right now because I'm like a dog. So I said all that to say this. This is my second story.
Yeah.
Talking about what you just said. What have you done for me lately? So when me and her separated, she quoted the words 16 years ago. I never forget. If I can't be happy, these kids ain't gonna be happy.
Wow.
They're using them kids as a crutch to purposely punish me all these years. Nothing I can do is ever good enough. I used to be known as a Disney dad. They come in town, I go spend money on them and bring them back. Oh, they got the best dad in the world. That's only for show.
Right.
They was in South Carolina, I'm in Mississippi. 13-hour distance between me and that. I done been in situations where I done been driving to come and pick my kids up. Only to get 3 hours away and say, I changed my mind, they can't come. As a father, you know how much rage that builds up inside you to know that you done took off of work, you're missing money, you're spending money by being on the road, can't get none of that back, and you coming for the purpose of being able to bond with your kids, and you say 3 hours away, oh, well, I changed my mind, they can't go again. Why? Oh, because we got something else to plan.
Oh yeah.
Man.
I done had to be in a position where as a father, and this is what don't a whole lot of people know this, but I'm gonna be transparent because I believe that there's healing in being able to talk about situations.
Oh yeah.
I was coming to see my kids one holiday, and she was like, "You can't come and get him unless you sleep with me." So I done had to stoop as low as, let me bring you some D just so I can get my keys.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when I'm spending time with my kids, I'm looking at my kids, you don't know how much it costs me to have
That's
to be here with you right now.
Right.
So understand that, as parents, we go through things in life, and I can understand why now I understand how a woman could put herself in position to have to sleep with a man and take care of a kid and all that kind of stuff. I get it now because I had to do some things as well. To being able to, put yourself last for your kids. So 2016, I moved here for the sole purpose of being able to watch my kids go through high school and see my kids graduate. That was my only purpose. I could have went anywhere in the world. Could have went back to Mississippi. I was in Oklahoma at the time before I moved here. And we had a little ship going down situation in Oklahoma. We gotta get out of here. Obviously got life. Me and my brother, you know what I mean? So before I got here though, had a conversation with their mom. Look, I'm thinking about moving to North Carolina to be closer to the girls. I've been doing this long distance daddy thing and it ain't working for me. It's costing me way too much money to have to go on the road every time, and you're not letting them go nowhere. You want to let them travel. It's always I got to be here to see them, and I'm like, I need to be able to parent my kids, co-parent without having that. Okay, Darren, you come, but I need you to consider taking me off Chesup. People don't know what Chesup is, and you got child support. And they hit your check, direct deposit, automatic draft. They say Chesup on your check.
Yeah.
Like, God, don't Chesup got me again, man. Who is this goddamn
Man.
You know what I mean? So we agreed that I was going to come here so I could be a bigger part of my kids' life, the physical part instead of the financial part.
Yeah.
If I'm here with the kids, then why would I need to be on child support if I'm going to be here financial for them anyway?
Yeah.
Take me off. We'll see about it. You come here and do your thing, then I'll see about taking you off. Since I done been here, brother, I done had to buy cars.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I am the reason that my ex-wife knows how to drive. I taught her how to drive. She was 26 years old, didn't know how to drive. I taught her how to drive, bought her first car, and that's kind of what I was doing. I was a marksmanship instructor for the Marine Corps, so I was a great instructor. So I was teaching, teach how to drive. So when I got here, let me help my kids. Let me not handicap my kids. Taught them how to drive, helped them gave them the first car. Helped me get the second car, so they can have power to not be handicapped and be, I done took my kids to over a year and a half straight, every doctor's appointment, every dentist appointment they had, because their mom had to work and she couldn't get off, and because I own my own business, I'm a little bit more flexible with my hours. I can go and do that. Done went on, school shopping spree. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Done put cash money in their hand. Done all this stuff. Here's the thing. They have been brainwashed to the point where they're seeing what I'm doing, I'm being there, but they still listening to that negativity, and they can't see past the negative that their mom done already done showed them. So I'm like, how can you not see that I'm here for you? I don't understand it, right? So the 2-week story goes like this. Since the corona, the kids, the whole high school experience has changed. Last year, my daughter needed to go to prom, her 11th grade prom. I said, you might want to wait till your 12th grade, because your 12th grade is your most memorable. Well, we might not have one because it's corona. So let me just get 11th grade prom out the way, because we might not even have a 12th. Okay, boom. Pay for the whole prom. Had to take my daughter prom dress shopping. This is something that you normally expect a mother to do.
Right.
Mother couldn't get off work, so I got to be the one. Taking my kid to get her hair done, nails done, all that kind of stuff. And bought the dress and everything. Last year. All the appointments they had to, PTA meetings, all that, I'm right there.
Yeah.
We didn't know that it was still going to be happening right now. We thought the program was going to be, I thought it was going to be over by now.
Yeah.
So, the graduating class, every student gets awarded 4 tickets to the graduation. Me, in my mind, may have not been the best dad in the world, but I'm good enough of a dad to get 1 ticket.
No, you're not.
Especially after I done put in work, with, emotional, you know what I'm saying? Me and my daughter had a big fight one year. We fell out and we went without talking for 6 months. I had to crawl my way back to my daughter's heart, because I was almost like ready to just, this lion that came out. And I'm like, do you know who you talking to? You know what I mean? And I had to go through all that. I had to go through the humility, of going to see a professional. I had to go to counseling, a psychologist, to go and say, I don't know how to communicate, because I got all girls. I'm not a good communicator when it comes down to, because I'm going off of what I see and what I know. They're going off what they heard, and they're not even giving me a chance to be a good father, because they're going off that negative stuff. So I've been going through all that. And I'm the first person that would admit when I got problems. Because I'm not perfect. That's why I agreed to go to therapy. No, you don't know black men don't go to no therapy, right?
Right.
Sign me up, bro. I need some help.
Right.
Because I need to be able to communicate with my girls. Maybe this woman can help me, and she did. Surprisingly, I've done the work that she provided for me, and it worked. I was able to get back into my kids' good grace. So all of that is the action of, my daddy must really love me, because he do. That's what I'm thinking, that my bloodline gonna kick in, because I'm an Evans, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard to deter us when we determine we're gonna get it done.
Right.
So all that to say this, I've been depressed for over a year. This corona has really depressed me to the point where I am tired of having to remember to bring a mask everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Used to be able to approach somebody and know if they was friendly or not by their facial expression, because this person may not be, I ain't gonna bother this person, his face is all frowned up, or this person is very inviting because they got a bubbly face. Now the mask game done changed everything. You gotta read people's eyebrows now. Like,
Right.
this dude's eyebrows don't look right. I can't fool with him, you know what I mean? So you gotta just be by the way their eyebrows look. And now they got masks. I seen a mask of a dog mouth mask
Oh,
or
that's
a
crazy.
crowd mask. You know what I mean? People are literally hiding behind these masks.
Looking
And
like
I'm just-
wuzzles. I don't know
I'm
what's
just
going
plain
on.
sick of having to deal with all this. So
Yeah.
I've been depressed. And so every time I think I'm come out of it, I get snatched back in. Oh, come on, you ain't going to I'm so sick of this. So the kids get 4 tickets. My daughter came to me and said, oh, I only get 4 tickets for this graduation. And so you can come to the party, but I don't have enough tickets for you to come. And I'm like, well, shouldn't I be like in the top,
You would-
at least the top 2?
You would think.
Yeah.
At least the top 3.
You would
I
think.
didn't even make the cut on the ticket thing. So I always have to verify everything that my kids tell me because I know the history of, you know, who they get their information from. And when I was married to their mom, I will always have to verify everything because you tell me one thing, but when I call them people, they tell me something different. Oh, they told me that. You take everything at face value. You don't ask questions to get to the root of the problem. That's kind of how the situation is. My kids told me, you know, I don't get the 4 tickets. All right, no problem. I'm like conflicted because I'm like, I moved here for the purpose of being able to see you, and I'm telling you I can't come because of a ticket count,
Man.
coronavirus. Like, oh, it's my mama, she's guaranteed, my grandma guaranteed, and my 2 sisters. They non-negotiable. I'm like, you mean tell me I can't get into over one of your sisters? You mean
Come on now.
the one that's gonna be graduating again? Is gonna be graduating next year? The one? I mean, really? Come on, your sister ain't never done nothing for you. I mean, really for real. So, all right, boom. Let me call the school. Hey, look here. What is the rules on the graduation? How many tickets the students get? Oh, well, each child is, I'm going to say to you in her voice, sir, each child is awarded 5 tickets each. 5 or 4? 5 tickets, sir. I'm like, well, God, my daughter is under the impression that she only get 4 tickets, and she is like really struggling with not being able to give me one of them tickets. Well, they got an email sent out, and every child got the email, the same email that say, I'm like, well, maybe my baby didn't read the email correctly. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she don't know that it's 5 tickets instead of 4. But let me just wait until the day because I would hate to, you know, act a fool now.
Right.
And then she say, oh, well, I had a ticket that I was going to give you in. But all right, anyway.
Right.
So I've been going through this all week, bro. Like, should I go to the graduation and crash it? And just show up and say, bam, I'm not going to let nothing.
Wait. New movie coming soon.
I ain't going to let
Graduation
nothing
Crash.
stop me from seeing my daughter graduate.
Right.
Or should I just give her the benefit of the doubt that on Friday morning when they have their rehearsal, they get their tickets, and she sees the extra ticket, she'll say, well, let me call my dad and tell him that he ain't got to worry. I got one for him. Talking to a friend of mine and different people, my buddy, my best friend Junior say, man, you ought to just go. Just show up. You the Lions then. You ought to be going. I'm like, well, you know what? But then if she don't want me there and I show up, if I'm going to embarrass her or is she trying to keep me from something that she don't want me to see? Like, what is the reason why, you know?
Right.
So another friend say, you ought to just wait until and see if, you know, if it's going to come out on Friday. I've been waiting for Friday morning all week. Like, I'm going to get the phone call or not. And then, so I'm like, I don't even want to go to the party. If I wasn't invited to the graduation, but I'm going to a party for. My job was to see you graduate, not go to no party.
Right, exactly.
Party for people who ain't able to go to the graduation. Talked to a buddy of mine who actually got friends in the school, said, I'm going to try to get you a ticket. I think that's wrong, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, so been waiting. So after all this waiting, I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and prepare my mind for the oath though.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to find out why wasn't I considered for the ticket in the first place. I asked my daughter, you know, I told her, my friend said, you ought to tell your daughter how you really feel, just so she'll know. Because in her mind, she thinking, well, he ain't complaining about not getting a ticket. Maybe he don't even give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, look here. I'm very proud of you. It's in a text message.
Yeah.
Very proud of you. I want you to know I love you to death. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations. But I want you to know how I feel. I'm very upset that I can't come to your graduation because I moved here for that, and I don't think that it's good that I can't come. I feel like I should have been considered for at least one of the tickets. One of your sisters could have.
Yeah.
My daughter texted me back. You say you moved here for me, but I can't tell.
Oh, wow.
Because all you do is focusing on your new family, and you don't you didn't even ask me about my prom this year. You didn't I'm like, did you actually forgot that I'm the one that
I did take you shopping, man.
paid for your last prom and all that? Like, what in your mind makes you think that I have the time to remember dates of prom? Like, really? I don't know about no prom date. You ain't tell me about it, so obviously you didn't want me to know about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's like, you don't come by and get us. So I'm like, do you not forget that I taught you how to drive and bought your car, so you ain't got to worry about nobody coming? You can come and see me. Like, I took that excuse out of your hands. Like, really? You don't have an excuse. Like, you can come and see me. You got a key to my house and all that. Then she say, and I said, I'll always be there for you no matter what.
Yeah.
My daughter says, I know you're going to always be here for me, and I appreciate that, but what else? I'm like, what else is there? If you go to any kid in America and say, what do you expect from your daddy? And they going to tell you, be there for me when I need him. That's it. I mean, all this little Mickey Mouse stuff about picking your... Come on now. I'm like... Oh no, the story about the car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
First hand.
Like,
I was there first hand. Yeah.
all these appointments I done had to close my office down for to go make sure you at your dentist appointment, doctor's appointment, eyelash appointment, feminine appointments with, you know, with all these, the cars, the money. I'm like, or am I missing something?
Yeah.
Is it like you say, what have you done for me lately? Well, lately, you told me to kick rocks.
Yeah.
Lately, you told me, you know, give your space. So I don't want to crowd you, because then I'll be creepy. Like, why do you keep bothering me? I told you to leave me alone. I mean, okay, but okay, you 18. You know what I mean? So I was conflicted whether to be a parent or not. So here's the thing: every year, I don't get the recognition on Father's Day. Their mama put on posts, or their mama say, "Oh, Happy Father's Day to me. I'm the mother and the father." Also, now you a transsexual. But when they go out make you the mother and the father, I mean, God dog, you just go in together. I mean, you had to be.
Hey, Hallmark realized.
You know what I mean?
Hallmark realized what the market for it. That's what they put.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a one night stand like a deadbeat, like a sperm donor, like some guys that just hit it and quit it. I was married to you, taught you how to drive, bought you your first house. That should count for like being a relevant part of your kid's life, but apparently not in today's society. So I'm doing all this work, you know, and so it hit me at the last minute. Go to the graduation. Let me show you who you are. This is what the Spirit was telling me. Mm-hmm. Because I'd have been in a situation myself. When I met Emmitt Smith, they gave tickets to like on the other side of the field, and it was like just basic tickets. In order to get down to the actual locker room, you gotta have VIP passes.
Okay.
I'm fresh out of boot camp. I done talked my way smooth past all the security guards down to the. I'm like, they say Emmitt not even coming out. Man, look, go tell Emmitt Smith that he need to come out. I mean, like, she done read up. Can you please get Emmitt to come out in? So I'm talking about that type of like I don't know if you want to call it entitlement, but I just expect a certain thing because I know how to ask the right question to get past.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna go to this doggone graduation, and if they ask me for a ticket, what am I gonna say to them? I'm just gonna walk right on in, right? If I act like I belong, then they'll have to chase me down to pull my shirt and say, "Sir, what were you doing?" So I went to the doggone thing. I parked my car in weird, some kind of way on top of a curb, halfway on the curb, in front of somebody. So I'm like, I got to be out here before this person leaves because I'll be blocking them. I saw the kids coming in through the side, going down to the field, and just bought me a brand new hat, customized hat. I'm like, I'm feeling like $1 million. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to miss the opportunity to at least say I showed up.
Right.
I've been trying to encourage people to show up.
That's right.
Keep putting the work in. Me and O had a conversation. He gonna tell his story in a minute, but we had a conversation. I'm like trying to encourage my man to keep pushing. I almost wanted to cry a couple of times because I'm just thinking about what else do I have to do to prove that I want to be here as a, you know what I mean? We don't get enough recognition. So I get to the field and I'm looking around at all these folks. I'm seeing people go down this way. I don't know where to go in at. So, in normal Lions Pride fashion, I just find me a gate to go through.
Yeah.
The gate had a chain on it. I took the chain off, unlocked the gate, and walked smooth in, and walked right past everybody. Wasn't looking like I was lost, like, oh, sir, excuse me, what are the tickets at? Hey, let's walk in and just keep walking. You know what I mean? I'm just going, boom. So I went into the doggone thing. I made a couple friends while I was out there. They was cracking up. I was telling jokes and just like talking about, you know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, this guy cool. Who you come to see? Let me see. Can I see your program, man? I ain't have a program.
Right.
I guess you got a ticket, you get a program. So I see one of the programs, look down the list. Okay, my kid is on the 3rd row. Okay, bam, in the east. I got you. So I'm good. On this side, they going up the stage and going that way. So if I stayed on this side, I was only going to be able to see her back.
Right.
Because she coming off the stage on the other side. I'm standing on the other side and say, okay, looks like it's fair game over there too. I'm already in. What they going to do?
Yeah.
So before I go over there, I'm looking around and I spot her mother. Hard to miss. All you see is half flying in the wind. I'm like, okay, that's her.
Right.
I ain't got to see her face. I see the back of her head. That's her.
Right.
I'm looking around for the rest of the family. I don't see them. I saw somebody sitting next to her. I'm assuming that was my other daughter.
Right.
But I don't see the grandma. That was non-negotiable. I don't see the other sister that was non-negotiable. I just see her and somebody else.
Yeah.
Mind you that her mama got a boyfriend, so I thought that they were trying to sneak him in there over me. That's why I want to go investigate to see who was this fifth ticket going through. Blah, blah, blah. So, alright, so at this point, I'm walking to the other side of the field, around the other side, so I can actually see him coming off the stage to get my pictures. My daughter don't even know I was there, or didn't know I was there because I didn't get a darn ticket. So she didn't expect to see me there, so she wasn't going to be looking for me. So I went over there, right before they started calling the E's, I went around there. And I'm posted up, waiting on her to call her name. Boom, they call her name, I'm up there, boom, I'm taking my pictures, with my phone, boom, 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 boom. She get her stuff, she go up. And I said, all right, well, my spirit is satisfied, I can leave now. So I'll go back to the other side, chop it up with the people I was cracking up with before, boom, 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 got her everything I needed, and then I get ready to leave. But I exit out of the correct exit.
Come in incorrect and leave correct.
Exactly, right? So people say, oh, you got a nice hat, and I love your shoes, and all that kind of stuff. You matching, brother, you cool, you clean. I'm cool. I could have been part of that program. They don't know it. That's why I came in with confidence, right? So I leave, I'm getting in my car, take my jacket off, because it was hot, I was sweating. And I'm getting ready to get on live to do that video I did last night about, keeping your mentality and keeping your attitude right, because, you never know if God is testing you, testing your mentality. So as I'm getting in my car, I'm sitting down, her mama pulls up. Like, not leaving out, but coming in. Like, she had to circle around the building to come in on this side, like she was looking for me. I don't know. Pull up. I roll the window down. How you get in? Like, surprised. I'm like, I just went in. Oh, they just let you in? I said, some people don't need tickets. Some people don't need tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at her like, okay, so where's the address to the party tomorrow?
Right.
Oh, well, she'll give it to you. I don't know about heart, but she'll send it to you. Okay. Ta-ta. Like, what else you got to say to me? 'Cause I know you didn't want me in the first place, but I proved you wrong because I'm here. And guess what? I got a better shot than you did. You on the other side, looking at the back. I'm on the side, in her face. Bam.
Right.
So, I mean, so
That's right.
I was very satisfied with the results of how they went because I didn't know if I was going to have to go in and act a fool or what. But I was prepared to do that, say I say, do what I got to do. And so that right there was just an eye-opener for me that
Yeah.
the reason why I decided to go ahead and do what I wanted to do, because like I said, I wasn't going to even do nothing, just a card and then this will be done. I can't stop. My heart won't let me not be a father.
That's right.
My heart won't let me turn cold because this is who I am. This is who I've been my whole life. So I can't match her energy with my energy. Like even when we mess up, God still has a forgiving heart to say, I got you.
Yeah.
So even if she was being influenced by her mom or her feelings or what have you done for me lately and everything, every time you crank that car, who are you thinking about? If you don't like me, every time you look in the mirror, you wearing my face.
Yep.
Every time.
So you're going to have to get to a position in life and say, well, you know what? At least he tried. But I'm never going to be able to live up to the standards of some people.
Yeah.
Because like you talking about, this whole conversation started off with this fictitious idea of what they think a husband should be or
A man or whatever.
a man should be, the 6'6". Some people I would never live up to the expectations of because they have a flawed.
Yeah.
Now my daughter is thinking that my job as a father is to be a sucker.
Yeah.
That's not my job to be a sucker. My job is to prepare you for this world because now you done graduated. You grown.
Yeah.
I didn't buy her a birthday gift for her 18th birthday. She probably thought that, oh, my dad forgot my birthday. I was out of town. I didn't forget. I just wasn't adamant about announcing your birthday because what is it going to do? You want to announce Father's Day.
Oh, no.
So what I did for her for her birthday was probably better than what I've done her whole 17 years of her life. Called into my office, got her credit started.
There it is. Awesome gift.
I'm about to put I'm finna put a credit card on her credit, and she gonna have when she get ready to go into the world and get her first apartment, she gonna have a 700 credit score.
There you go. Yes,
Because here you go. This ego perspective versus the chicken coop.
Yeah.
She still living in the chicken coop, thinking about whatever you got for me right now. I'm looking at it from ego. Okay, in the next 6 to 8 months from now, you're gonna need credit.
Yes, indeed.
Let me prepare you for your future instead of worried about where you are right now.
there you go.
In this little kid mentality that you got friends, but when these friends turn into bills, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I was in my little funk. But one proud moment,
Yeah.
seeing my kid, I went back to when she was born, and when I was able to hold her up in that light like Simba,
That's right.
I am your father.
That's right.
And I held up and I held to the light, and I was like the Lion King. I went back to that part. I said, one day I'm gonna be able to watch you graduate, and I don't care how I got there.
You got that.
In my mind, mission accomplished.
Yes, sir.
So I can sleep good at night knowing that although they tried to stop me
Yeah.
from witnessing this, she can't say I wasn't there.
That's right.
Right.
Can't say that I didn't try, that I didn't push. Now, if I decide to kick rocks now and say, you know what, whatever, might not be justified, but I got feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't stop me from this graduation.
That's right.
And that was my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to encourage my brother here
Yeah, man.
to keep it pushing because
Yeah.
one day he may be in a situation. Just tell us about your story, man.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it hurts, bro. We here. We here. And if you need some
Oh,
tissue,
man.
I can get
Yeah,
Ed
we
to
got
go
some
grab
tissues
some shit
around
down the
here.
hallway. Make sure
Yeah.
he's
Scott's. You want
One
some
thing
Scott's?
about me, I tell anybody, I'm very passionate about my kids. Very, very passionate about my kids. Very passionate. It's something I tell people, my friends, people I talk to often. I don't do anything I do for me. It's not for me. I can survive on so much less. But what I'm doing is I'm setting things up for the future for them and other family members and stuff like that. So this is not for me. But a couple of days ago, I was asked if my daughter, being my youngest daughter, can stay off, and the rest of my family is actually celebrating Memorial Day on vacation, and I was going to surprise them, but I didn't want anyone to know. So I told my daughter's mom, I said, no, I don't want her to stay off, because I got things going on, trying to make excuses that was valid, but I didn't want anyone to know that I was trying to surprise, the rest of my family. But that turned into a argument. She was like, well, if you're not gonna be here, what's wrong with her staying on? And I said, because I enjoy coming home, seeing my kids, whether it's late or I wake up to my kids in the morning. That's inspirational to me. Mm-hmm. That makes it all worth it. That turned into an argument, and I just had to let her know that no means no. I can't. I want to see my kid or my kids together. It's tough celebrating the holidays, and you already, your family like, man, you're supposed to be out here with us. You're supposed to be with us. And then I'm gonna have one kid over here, and you got them all scared. No, I want my family together because that's what family is. It's together. Mm-hmm. And I had to. It was so bad, and she made me feel so bad. I actually had to call Daniel, and I'm like, man, I said, just give it to me raw. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But Daniel was like, and he kind of told me a little bit about what he was dealing with too, to further encourage me. But he said, it is easier to give up. It is. But that's not a part of our makeup. Mm-hmm. That's not a part of our makeup. Our drive to see them smile and do well in life, it makes it worth it. We'll go through these terrible times just to know around the corner they happy, they smiling, And I mean, my daughter's mom actually, they stayed 30 seconds away from my shop. And she's been so upset with me that my daughter called me on, they got Kids Messenger now. And she was like, hey, Dad, I want to see you. I'm like, come on over, you can come see me. I'm at work, come see me. Mom, can I go see Dad at work? 30 seconds around the corner from where I live, literally 30 seconds. Do you think she showed up? So I tell people, if you have a parent, whether you're together or not, and they're trying to be there, do not take that time away from that parent, man. Don't take that away from them because it's so important, to keep that bond healthy, and that's tough. That's tough for me. So I'm sure there's others that's tough. But I just get tired of seeing people that are not with someone that are chasing. They're taking a child. They're chasing down the other parent, and the other parent's like, I don't want to be involved. They're chasing them down, but the ones that want to be involved, hey, pick me, I'm here, pick me. Never select. Never select.
It's crazy, man, and it's the mentality, bro. I was talking to my daddy before y'all came. Mm-hmm. And history have a tendency to repeat itself. Yeah. My dad was like, that's what I went through with April and Tree, which are my two oldest sisters. He said, as long as I was buying stuff and being this little, finance or whatever.
Yeah.
She didn't mind, what I'm saying, holding them kids over my head as a crutch. But the moment I act like I didn't give a darn,
Yep.
she was throwing them on me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, and I've tried that over the years. I said, it don't work for me, man.
Right.
It backfires on me.
Right.
How did it backfire? Because, you start saying, okay, whatever, if I can't get the love and respect from my own blood, then I get it from other kids,
Yeah.
I have better memories and better moments and better times with other folks' kids because they respect me because they know I'm doing a job that their father couldn't.
Right.
And I get more love and respect from them than I do my own. And so when I try to do that, I still get criticized. Well, now you spending so much time with your new family, focusing on them. Man, God, what you want me to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do
There's a heartbeat inside this lion chest, guy, dog. I mean, if I had to put down a kryptonite, that would be my kryptonite, my kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I actually care what they think about me.
Absolutely.
right.
People in the streets, I don't give a darn what they think about me. But my kids, I actually care because one day they're going to be parents and they're going to be talking about their parents and how they feel like I'm going to be part of their goddamn story.
Yeah.
Are they going to have something good to say about me? Or are they going to still have this negative mentality? So I care about that's why I'm always like drawn to come to the rescue when they call, or if I feel like I can do something, like you saying, like I'm not cut from the same cloth as some dudes. Like I can't walk away and have no remorse. I would literally lose sleep. You know what I'm saying? I had to, I snatched one of my kids up, my other daughter, snatched her up, and it hurt me for like weeks, and I was in the right.
Right.
Daughter cussed me out and talked crazy, disrespect me. I snatched her up, and I was in the right, and I feel bad for her. Like, man, God dog. So now I might have lost that battle. I might have won the war, but I might have lost the battle.
Yeah.
Or won the battle but lost the war because in the moment I was doing parenting
Absolutely.
based off how I was raised and how other men in America feel. I can do a poll and ask men the same thing, and I can go through 100 men and they'll probably say the same thing. But because their perception is already negative,
Yeah.
me doing my job as a parent is like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
And so they have that negative mentality, and it goes back to our whole topic of the day. Women in the past versus women now, their whole mentality has changed. Men in the past didn't have to announce that I'm a man. Their mothers, their wives was like, this is your daddy, I don't care, this your daddy, your daddy, your daddy, your daddy, your daddy. This is your dad. I'm gonna tell your daddy. You do wrong, I'm gonna tell your daddy. And kids would get in line when their daddy, oh man. My dad looked at me wrong. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
Now you talking about call her daddy, and so what? Call that nigga out. You know what I mean? It's like they don't even have no respect for the man now. So it's all based off of women. Used to be humble and meek, and now they're more aggressive. They telling you what they want in a man. On a first date, you're going down a list like you going through an interview with a woman on the first date. Like, what can you do for me? No, what can you do for me?
But it seems like that it's happening in stages, right? So now we're entering into where it's like total manipulation, total emasculation, right? So some people think, like, for instance, we were jacked up. The black family was jacked up because of slavery, and it's valid. But in all actuality, we were more harmed. Some would argue that we were more harmed from the welfare culture than slavery, because even right after slavery, we was 80% married. We was about 80% married as households. But then when welfare culture came, that stuff dwindled.
Yeah.
And so that kind of goes into like the Monahan Scissors report, which this guy, he actually saw a chart. Like, they looked and they noticed something weird. They was like, when the welfare system came about, and during that era, they noticed that right before that, like say when men once the employment or the unemployment starts to drop, where men they had income coming in, and the black household especially, that for women public assistance started to rise. And it's like, and that's why they call it the scissor part come in, because on the graph or the chart they saw the cross. And it was like, wait a minute, this is weird. And so because they were thinking like, okay, we provide them, they didn't know, like when we provide them with government assistance, that they were just gonna go for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they're gonna keep, going for it. And so it appears that a lot of our women, a lot of black women, in all actuality, they really don't like to be under the rule or under masculine authority or a black male authority figure. They are fine with because this thing is about power. It's not so much about I understand the feminist movement and things like that, but this thing, and we have to understand, this thing is about power, and like they don't want to give the power up. They're fine with that's why it's weird. It's really confusing because you'll hear these women that are on public assistance, but they'll say, "Hey, I'm strong and independent." And you're like, wait a minute.
It's a contradiction.
Okay, it's a super contradiction, but that's what they would say. I'm strong and independent. But they're the only women out here, as far as I understand. Only women out of all the different cultures of women that will not only say I'm strong and independent, but they will say I don't need a man. You don't have other people. You had a lot of feminists, white feminists, all different other type of cultures. They were feminists, but a lot of those women were going home to their husbands. You know what I mean? Our sisters, they were like, we don't even need no man. I can do this by myself. It's a documentary you got to check out called The Vanishing Black Family. And
is it on YouTube?
Yeah, you can check it out on YouTube. Check it out. They show these guys doing it. It's a documentary. They're interviewing these young black mothers. They got to be about 18, 19. And they're asking them like, would you, and it's probably like 5 or 6 of them, like, would you, and this happened in the 80s, they said, would you marry your kid's father? And those girls, and they were young, they goofy, laughing, they're like, nah, I wouldn't do that. Why not? Well, because it makes no sense. Like, even though they kind of admit that they're really not prepared for motherhood, they weren't prepared. They were saying that automatically they never gave any validity, or there was nothing valid about their boyfriends or their baby fathers being proper fathers. They were like, no, we don't, he's not even essential. He's not even essential. This is the thinking. Like, the black guy, the black man is not even essential. He's not needed. It's okay to emasculate him. It's okay for you to come for a young girl, your daughter, to come and read you your rights. Hey, where were you? Without even coming to you and saying, because when you trying to validate an argument, or not validate an argument, say you're trying to deal with somebody and you want to know what's going on, you don't just jump on them. You say, hey, so just give it to me straight. What's going on? You want to hear their side. No, they don't want to hear your side. They're emasculating you by saying to you, well, why you didn't do this or why you didn't do that, as if you didn't have a story. You know what I'm saying? Without even considering that you're human. Without even considering that you're a man. Not understanding what a man is.
And that's the craziest thing, because I was talking about that the other day about when you become a parent, there's no parent instruction.
Right.
Nah.
You have to figure out most of the stuff either by experience from your own parents or just fit it out on the fly. So it's hard for certain people to, like you talking about, question a man, why did you leave? And I used to think to myself, I would never be that guy that walked out of his family. I would never be the kind of guy that would want to be with his family and everything. But never say never, because you don't know what happened generically that would cause this situation and this decision to be made.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're left with no choice but to walk away. Stay in a situation that's conducive to violence and conducive to whatever. It's not going to do any good by standing and the kids watching this, and you have a bigger effect on the kids when you could have just walked away from the mom. Sometimes as parents, we're not saying goodbye to the kids. We're saying goodbye to the parent or the mother or the father, and it is regurgitated or it's being relayed to as he said goodbye to us. No. If you're going to tell my story, tell the right story. He said goodbye to me, and because y'all was with me, I wouldn't let him take y'all. Y'all got the short end of the stick. So it's very easy to point the blame when you don't know the whole story, like you're saying. Don't come questioning me about what I did. No.
Yeah.
Because you done heard your mother's side of the story for 15 years.
Yeah.
Come have a conversation and hear my story, because I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing when it comes down to right and wrong.
But look who has to bear the brunt of that accountability. You, whereas the mother is automatically, see, we're assumed guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly.
They're assumed innocent
until proven guilty.
But they're not proven guilty. It ain't even that. It's
they get a pass.
They're always getting a pass. And so it's like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me this same person, this same woman that is human, we all understand humans err. We all understand human makes mistakes. We all understand that, this is just the dynamics, of human beings. Yet, she's put in the category, we have let them put women in the category where she's superish, she's infallible, if that's a word, superish, whatever. She's infallible. She cannot. Matter of fact, I heard a woman say a video where a woman was saying, hey, she was disagreeing with Kevin Samuels, and she said, hey, you must have been her, Kevin Samuels. You must she's disagreeing with his talking points. And she's saying, all he does is berate black women. So she says, you talking down to black women, talking about single mothers. She said, I beg to differ. Once that woman produces a child, once she brings forth that child, that woman automatically becomes a goddess. This is what this woman says. She said, so it's like, wait a minute. So, okay, cool. Back to what we were talking about before. These black women, and we know they're having babies, spitting them out like hotcakes. You know what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me our community is full of goddesses, queens of the universe, all of that stuff. But yet, our condition is not in a great place. It's not in a great place. And as a matter of fact, you all, since y'all raised the kids, y'all say y'all the backbone, it's weird. It's like you complain, because you hear a lot of complaints about women. There's no good black men out here. There's no, okay, that's fine. I'll concede to that. Okay, there's no good black men. So let's talk about if it's genetic or if it's something that's been created. So we know that it's not genetic, right? So that means that no good black man has been created. So since you were the one with the reins, you at the helm and you with the reins, you know what I'm saying? You with the reins, you're like, look, I got this. I don't need nobody to help me raise my kids. But yet, why aren't you pushing all the things you want a good man to be, for instance? And I'm talking about especially the women that have the sons. You're not even pushing that energy into your sons. So now your daughters are not going to be able to benefit from having or finding a good man because you're not even, you're casting your sons aside. You're building up your daughters, so-called building up your daughters, and you're ignoring your sons. You don't want their fathers to see their sons. You don't care about all that. And so that part, it always tripped me out. It's like, but once again, they don't want to take that L. They don't want to take their fault. They want to blame that on, it's always somebody else's fault. It's never theirs.
There it is.
It's never theirs.
There it is. We talk about accountability a few weeks
Dude,
ago.
come on.
You know, if the man had to be accountable for why he left, then why can't the woman be accountable for making him stay?
Because she can't, because according to them,
Anytime
she
you
can't
say
be
you
blamed.
3 years of your marriage, your wife said she wanted a divorce because you wasn't frolicking in her.
I wasn't fawning on her.
Fawning on her again. But if she never found another dude in her whole life that looked at her like anything, then she gonna have to blame herself for not having a good man. Because when you limit a man's job to being only conducive and selfish to your needs.
Yeah, you're just utility. You're just a utility.
Yeah.
That's
Like, how about being like, okay, so if you're a woman you're a single woman, you got a son. We talked about this on the first episode. Call this boy King. Name him King.
How about that?
Call him King. Call him this my man. But you don't expect nothing of him but to just lay around and play Xbox all day.
That's it.
When he turns 21, he's gonna be a 21 dumb, lazy boy
Mom.
named King.
They're gonna be a mama's boy.
He ain't gonna know how to get out of no situations.
None of
He
that.
gonna know how to change no tires. He gonna be calling your phone every day. You like, well, dog on it, King. You can't do nothing for yourself. Well, mama, you be doing everything for me all my life. I don't know. I ain't got no daddy. I don't have this and I don't have that. Well, ain't nobody can teach you nothing. I can't teach you everything, son. I'm a woman. But you done this because, like you say, I don't need no help. The truth is, you need help. You don't want to submit to a man and get it,
There you
but
go.
you'd rather get it from the government
There you go.
because I ain't got to submit to the government.
Right.
But you do.
You
Because
do.
being on Section 8 means that you can't have a man in your house when they're doing them inspections. You got to get rid of his clothes so you can pass your inspection. So what are you doing? You are subjecting yourself and you submitting yourself under the authority of the government because they say as long as you get my check every month,
Oh yeah.
I don't want Craig and them in that house. As long as you get these food stamps, I don't want to see you throwing no barbecues. So you don't want to submit to an actual man
Yeah.
under the authority of a leader because this is what your punishment was back in the day, Eve. So you'd rather just credit the man, I don't need no help, I can do it myself, but you would take it down from the government. From the government assistance, the food stamps, the WIC, the Section 8, all of that. And this is what you're raising our kids off of. And you're wondering why every time they see a police, they get aggressive, they get defensive.
Oh yeah.
You wonder why every time a real man yells at them to get them to straighten up, they get combative like, you ain't my daddy. I ain't trying to be your daddy.
Yeah.
I'm a black man and my responsibility is to challenge everything that I see that I can make better. Whether you my kid or not. If I see you walking down the street with your pants hanging out and say, hey man, pull your pants up. You my daddy. I ain't gotta be your daddy. I'm your brother.
Yeah.
I want to see you do better. But they have demasculized the man, demasculized the father, taking them out of the equation and make the women think that you don't need them, you just need us, the government will take care of you.
Oh, yeah.
But then you want to control the population by putting out all these diseases and, killing folks and not, what I'm saying, y'all making too many babies and all that kind of stuff because we still taking care of the babies and like you said before, we can't keep fronting the bill for you black men. Y'all ain't taking your responsibility. Well, God, dog, put us back in the game, coach.
Nah, they don't want to.
Tell women that they need us.
But see, you
Make us more attractive to society. Make us more valuable to society. And then maybe the women will go out and find them a good, they'll allow, not find them, but they'll allow a man to find them. They will raise their game up and quit wearing that mess on their head so that they can find them somebody and they can meet this man halfway. They'll learn how to sew, learn how to cook clean, learn how to be a housekeeper so that he can go out and do the job and you can take care of the house and the kids. And then when he comes to the table and say, what can you do for me? I can meet you halfway because I need you, King. Then that's when the value of a man will raise up.
Yeah.
And then just maybe the black man wouldn't be a endangered species. Maybe, because I'm gonna tell you, who's killing black men more? White cops or black women?
Man, come on.
They might kill us physically, but emotionally every day we get shot by our black men.
They taking it straight out the white
We get our
supremacy.
nuts cut, we get castrated every goddamn day.
Right out the white supremacy playbook. They mirror all the white supremacy talking points. So why we ain't even got to worry about white supremacy going on the outside when you got it in your bedroom. You know, they're the ones. That's just how they get down. And the funny part is I don't even think that they don't see what's going on. A lot of them really don't care. They do not care because what it is they feel like they have more value than you. And they don't see you as valuable. They only see you as something to extract resources from. You know, and so that's why, like, you have a lot of movements that's been going on for years. Like, some guy SMYB, you know, black men, save yourself, black man. You know, men going their own way. You got the red pill community. You got all these different sects and all these different communities because it's just like how they say when rap came out in the 80s, you know, why are they rapping about violence? No, they're rapping about violence because this is what they see. You know, so men are seeing, and they've been seeing, and they're speaking out now, and they're like, wait a minute, we have to address these issues. We can't keep letting ourselves get walked on. And, you know, you got a lot of brothers, they're like, look, we're not, let's go ahead. It's a lot of guys, like, they'll date outside their race. They will. I know y'all want to talk about that, but they will date outside their race because you know why? Before, they didn't want to, we didn't have the option like that, right? We didn't have the options like that. And everybody was like, you know, it was, even though the black man was coveted by other women, but it was always a thing, you know, but now, because especially now, black men, 51% of black men, right now the stats show 51% of black men do not have children, you know, and they're in the middle class right now as far as income. And so now you have these black men that have options. And so a lot of black women, they, you know, it's funny, they think that they have those options too. And I'm not talking about dating. I'm not talking about dating. I'm talking about marrying out. They think that they have options, but they have ruined their stock because they have been known across the planet as what? The most disagreeable, strong, independent black woman. And so what man...
Nobody wants to hook up with that.
Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? So
if you look at the dynamics, I'm glad you said it because we were talking about this on another thing as well. You look at the dynamics of marriages and relationship across the board in race. Hey, hit that button on that phone. The X in the right corner. It did not already stop. It stopped, didn't it? All right.
It's live.
We get it on YouTube. We good.
It stopped broadcasting.
Huh?
It stopped.
I know it stopped, but we still on YouTube. The Chinese man comes home with his 3 inches, and his wife she bows down to him when he comes to the house. The Hispanic Latino community come home, papi, rub your feet. I need to do it.
All of that.
And
he may not
make sure he has a cold beer at home when he gets there. He don't be, you know what I'm saying? The Caucasian woman comes home, honey, welcome home, get the food, the kids are taken care of. The Indian, they women take care of them.
Hanif and them, Hanif, you know, kids.
The black man comes home after fighting the whole world and got dodged 10 bullets,
Right.
to rescue the kitty cat. That had to fight off 3 or 4 other black men to try to steal his car.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then had to take a pay cut at work. Then had to be stopped by the police. Gets home by the hair of the chinny chin chin.
Yeah.
Come in and gets the most yak 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 yak. And are you kidding me?
All of that, no peace.
Are you kidding me? Who wants that? So yes, they have devalued their own self because of the baggage that comes with being with it. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Who wants to marry that?
But check this out right quick. I'm glad you said that because now you have sex of women. And they realize this, right? So this is what's going on. They have this new movement, if you want to call it a movement, called the Level Up.
What we looking like, Kaz? What time do we need?
2:30.
Okay, all right. We in the pocket.
All right. So we got this Level Up movement. And this is what, you know, on the surface, you think like level up. With, you know, if I hear level up, you're thinking like, man, they're trying to get their money up, you know, level up, be maybe a better person, whatever. They have femininity coaches. These are women that are coaching other women. Now imagine these are women that's attending these classes in their 30s, 40s, 50s. You mean by 30, 40, 50, you don't know how to be feminine yet? We got an issue. But check this out. Check this out. They're giving out these classes, femininity coaches. Now, like I said, you may think, oh, they saying they level up because they want to be better, maybe better wives to black men and everything like that. No, it's a whole different dynamic. For them, they're saying because they have been known as the strong black woman, and even back in the day when they was called strong, they felt like that was a compliment. Now, for some, you say strong, they feel it's offensive. I'm going to tell you the reason why. The reason why, and they're taking these feminine classes because they think in their mind, because they always had a secret affair with, I need to attach myself to a white man. Look at all the storybooks. Why do you think Scandal was so huge? Scandal, the show Scandal. What do you think that was about? Olivia, her character? She didn't have no issue with being bent over in the mop closet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To a white guy. They've always had that. And so they call leveling up, what they call leaving Blackistan, you know, black community. This is what they're saying leveling up is. And so they're trying to make a case and say, hey, we are submissive now. We can do this. We're feminine. We're more feminine now because they think that they can attach themselves. They think that they have the option to marry out and stuff like that. But we already know the data shows that ain't nobody going for that. You know what I'm saying? Black men have more success in marrying out.
You take
And stuff like that.
take the girl out of the hood.
Yeah.
You can't take the
You ain't
hood
taking
out of the
that.
girl.
But this is what they're doing. And so, they call themselves divesting. That's the terminology. Divesting from the black community. Divesting from, as they call Blackistan. Which is weird because you guys have aided and abetting to create Blackistan. Y'all have created and made these boys effeminate. So now, every little thing, when the boy gets stopped by the police, he want to go and if a police stop me, okay, man, look, I'm not about to argue with you. Give me a ticket, I'm going about my business. Oh no, this guy wants to confront the police. He want to fight the police. He want to go somewhere, and every time you look up, they're always fighting. They don't want to talk it out. They're so in their emotions, and that's how you know that's an effeminate guy. And that's one of the worst things. That's one of the worst weapons. That's like a woman with high testosterone, with muscles. You know what I'm saying? Walking around here ready to test stuff up every chance you get, instead of thinking logically, like you're saying, hey, there's a time for this and a time for that. But no, these guys are ready. Man, if he do that, man, Every time? So you mean every time? So you mean to tell me ain't nobody strong, ain't nobody gonna be able to lay you down?
Right.
Ain't nobody.
You don't miss nobody.
Nobody. So you ready to fight at every turn, and that's what happens. But you can't say that wasn't, that black women didn't have a hand in that. And they want to try to be blameless and say, oh, we didn't do nothing about that. That's his fault. His father should have been there. His father should have been there, but then you pushed him away. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, man, like you said, accountability, take responsibility.
Come on now.
This man didn't rape you to have his baby.
No, you chose him.
literally laid down and opened your legs and got the D. So now when it doesn't work out between you as a relationship,
Yeah.
why do you have to suffer behind your poor decision because you thought that you was getting a cash cow or you thought you was going to be an opportunist and because it was just a one night stand or it was some good sex, it wasn't a relationship, you chose. But now, because the way the dynamics is, because he don't want to take responsibility, it's all his fault.
You know this
When
guy.
you laid down with you met this guy in the club.
Yeah.
You saw his rims. You saw his gold teeth. You saw him sat in his pants. You saw that amount of money in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You saw his homeboys that's catering to him. You saw all what you saw, and you said, "I want to be a part of that."
Yeah.
And you didn't know what you was getting into. Just like I told you about the scenario inside the crazy house. You got your number one at the crazy house. And now when that number one starts showing up as a number one, you like, well, how did we get here? Where did you got him from?
Yeah.
What did you expect? You expect this dude to be a knight shining armor after you just got him out of the club? Or did you expect that you was going to have to deal with this whenever time comes? But why is it that he's frowned upon for being a good, he was a good screw?
Right.
But what was you?
Yeah.
Because he didn't rape you.
Dude,
So now you
somebody.
want to punish somebody for 18, 19, 20 years of their life because you made a bad decision. How about telling the kids, I thought your dad was a different dude than what he was. It didn't work out. I'm going to take responsibility to take care of you because I'm the one that had you versus chasing this man down and acting a fool. And where is the other side of the accountability? I don't mind taking care of mine.
Yeah.
That's true.
But in the event that, because I'd have been on both sides of the fence, I done took care of other men's kids. I ain't never called their phone and asked them for a dime of child support because if I am the king of my house, I don't need your money, bro. I got this.
Yeah.
If the child choose to call you on their own, it's to take care of something that he don't want to ask me for, but as far as his house, I don't need your money.
Yeah.
But where is the other side of it? Well, you taking care of somebody else's kids and the mama not being accountable for, I don't know what his boy daddy had. He was a good up, and now I'm done with him, and I don't need no man because I don't choose to be the man. I just wanted a kid out of the deal or whatever.
They can't do it. They can't
You know
do
what
it
I mean?
because it's gonna make that image look bad. But like you said, you need that accountability because it's just like you deal with credit, right? You mastering credit. That's your thing. Now, remember how, back in the day before they changed the laws where it was like people, you could just file bankruptcy like that. You could just file bankruptcy, no problem. You don't have to take any classes or anything. And then they changed it where they was telling people you got to start taking these classes before we're not going to just let you file bankruptcy like that. Because, and the reasoning behind that was what? Hey, at least we want y'all to think about your actions so you won't keep repeating the same thing. Y'all just keep getting over. It's the same thing. Not teaching a woman or not holding a woman accountable, she thinks that it's okay. When you give a woman a baby shower for being a baby mama, back in the day it was frowned upon. Right. But when you give a baby shower for having a baby, her sixth child out of wedlock, and she got 3 or 4 of her friends, they all in the mirror. I've seen pictures of this. All in the mirror with their belly showing. Hot girl summer. You know what I'm saying? All of this, and there's no accountability. What are they learning? All you're doing is, and that's why we can't sit here and accept any type of humiliation. Men should not accept any type of emasculation because all you do, to be honest, there's an aggressor there's two people in the thing. There's an aggressor, and then there's a person that's passive. If you don't say anything, you become passive. You become passive in that fault. And if you shouldn't take that and let somebody just disrespect you like that, because all you doing is rewarding bad behavior.
Yeah.
You're not teaching them anything. It's like it becomes and I wish I remembered that term, which it was actually a young lady that came out with it. It was basically like basically, if you normalize something, in order for something to be normalized, it has to be considered good. So in other words, if no one is giving any pushback about the event, it's considered good. Yep. And it gets to become normalized. So women having babies out of wedlock, because no one has pushed back about it, it becomes considered normal. Or should I say it's considered good. And it's been normalized. It's just part of the culture. Like, what do you mean? Ain't that so now? And then they look at you like, okay, yeah. So what you make? You know what I'm saying? You got your little bag or whatever. You making money. Okay, you got your stuff together. I see your little car. You know, got to minimize everything you do. Mm-hmm. How dare you have a standard? How dare you as a man? You're just a man. Who are you? I know you don't have no kids. How dare you tell me that I don't qualify because I got 3 kids or 4 kids, 5, 6, 7 kids by 7 different guys? How dare you? I'm a goddess. This is the idea. You see what I'm saying? I'm a goddess. How dare you even have a standard? And you're like, wait a minute, but forget what you don't want to do. Right. Remember, you're down here. I need for you to do this for me. That's what I need. It don't matter what you want. And that's the thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's backwards, bro. It's really backwards. Yeah. So it's really sad, but that's where we at. So I think brothers need to really, men need to really, especially when you're young, you really need to stop, because we be focused too much on trying to hit the draws, focus on even they say guys when they a guy that's very successful, some guys brag about, but man, I got options now. I could go out and have sex with this woman, okay, yeah, the women coming. We know the women coming, whatever. Yeah. We understand that story. We seen that movie. But real guys that are successful, what I've seen is that there's only 24 hours in a day. Yeah. So if you're dealing with one woman, in all actuality, and you say some people say they got my side piece and all that, bro, if you're successful, that takes time. Yeah. What time do you have to even spend on trying to, whether you want to garner a relationship with a side piece or you just want to deal with her where she is or whatever? That's a lot of time still that you could be tending to your business and to develop your skill set to become even sharper and get yourself further down the line. Yeah. So, why? But a lot of us, we like, shoot, man, I make good money. I got my wife over here, and then I got my side piece over here. Bro, you hustling backwards. Even though you got the option, I guess, or whatever, it's still not good business. It's still not wise. It's still not that 50-story view. Because even if the woman, and we talked about this, even if the woman say, hey, I'm cool. I just want to be the side piece. I know where you at. Just, because there's rules to it too. We understand there's rules to this here. You can't just go and your wife got a Dodge or a Plymouth Acclaim. You know what I'm saying? And then you go buy your side piece of Lexus ES. That's downright disrespectful. It's rules to it. Them the rules. You can't just go out here and do whatever you want. It's rule. If you're gonna play that game, it's rules to that. She might, even if that your wife say I'm cool with whatever, I just don't want to hear about it. Just don't bring back no diseases. Don't bring me back, don't have me out here embarrassed in the streets. Don't matter if she says that. And the side piece might say, well, I'm cool with being in my spot. Whatever. So what happens when stuff changes, the feelings change or whatever? You know what I'm saying? What happens then? So now you sitting here, your foundation ain't strong. You got a crack in the cement. So now you sitting there and everybody looking at you.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta kind of have that what they call that dig discipline. You gotta it's good to practice that because if you don't, you gon' we see all the stories all the time. How many guys didn't fail because they're not paying attention? It's always something. Is women gonna come, guys get super successful. It's the same plot. It's the same story. Money, they got money. Here come women. Here comes some liquor. Here comes some drugs. It's never nothing new. It's nothing new. It's the same story. And you would think by now, guys would, be like sport teams and just go over the play. Let's review the play. Nah. They like, well, it ain't gonna happen to me like that. What?
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
It's always a remix on everything.
Man, same stuff.
The youngsters got to understand that we done been through before as men, and we got to understand that it's other people done been through it. So this whole world is nothing but a remix from the beginning of time.
But we gotta walk the walk
now. From Eve to now. The women, they just remixing, everything. When Eve decided to go on and do that, that was the switch when women decided to stand up for themselves and say they want to be responsible for their own life and their own thing. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? As long as you listening to your husband, you are under, his leadership, then the order is where it is. But when you say I want to do better, or I got ideas too, I got thoughts too. Why you don't listen to my ideas? Why listen to my thoughts? Your thoughts is what got us in this jam in the first place. Listen to your leader and why you was created, not to have your own thoughts, but to kind of cater to what mine is, and we can, me and O can talk about the same thing, but O may be able to cater to my thoughts and say, you know what, I've been thinking about this on my own, but just because you said it, I feel more confident about it.
Right.
I ain't gave him no new thought. I just encouraged what he was already thinking. And gave him another way to think about it. Instead of just one tunnel, now he got 5 tunnels. That's what you do when you help cater to somebody's thoughts instead of saying, I got my own ideas. Okay, go your own way then. And quit begging when you go down the street.
How does that help the team though?
But listen, we have been an awesome time here today. I know it's going on 3 hours. And we're gonna have to break this down in sections, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, Caleb. When you do the editing, break it down in like 4 sections, 45 minutes each or whatever. But listen, you are welcome back here anytime, brother.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
You're welcome to come back, and we can definitely keep the conversation going over dinner, whatever y'all want to do. We can do it. But for the sake of the audience, I don't want nobody to get bored and fall asleep on us.
Right.
But we have been at it, and this has been an awesome time. So. We will go ahead and shut it off now, but we can pick it up whenever we want, whenever we need to, and finish the conversation. But it has been a pleasure, to come out and have this conversation. You all are inside the den, and you have just witnessed what goes on, what guys think about, what guys talk about. And we thank y'all for joining us. For the ones that was on here, we appreciate y'all. Join us again here next weekend as we go into a different area. I'm gonna be talking to some youngsters about the rap game and music industry. I'm gonna have King Ashbell here, one of my music producers here. Gonna be talking to some young men, and we just gonna be getting ready for Juneteenth and all this kind of stuff. We got some great shows lined up for y'all. But we want to just thank y'all for coming out. Hey, like us, subscribe us. Inside the Den on YouTube, Inside the Den on Facebook, Inside the Den on Instagram, and we on Twitch, Inside the Den. And we look forward to seeing y'all next week. We'll see y'all soon. Have a great, blessed Memorial Weekend. God bless. We'll see you soon. Peace.
We inside the den.